Welcome everybody to We Geek Podcast. Today is May 26, 2021, not 2020. My name is Adam, and as always, joined by my good friend Logan.
Hello.
And yeah, sorry, we did a first take and I messed up the date. But dude,
we had audio quality like it was 2001. It was fantastic.
Exactly. Oh yeah. Well, yeah, dude. How have you been, man? It's been a couple weeks.
I have been hoarding my sleep because I'm not gonna get any starting tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Movies, man. Starting next week, there is not a weekend where there is not a big movie from now until after the first of the year.
Oh wow, that's exciting.
It is like there's not to take away from it. I am super stoked that we're finally getting movies again, and it's gonna be awesome, and it's gonna be great. And I work 2 jobs, and I hate my life, but it's gonna be fun. Like I am glad that movies are back and that we get to see them and we have them and all that kind of fun stuff. Just on a personal, professional level, I'm gonna hate it.
Yep. Busy, dude.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, sure, close and get out of the theater by like 3 a.m. and then show up to the pizza place at 10. You know, it's great. It was fun. I love that. Unless we're not
How's
open
that
because
been?
we don't have a manager. It's been a clusterfuck. Like it's just been so
but it's
bad.
got to be better than last time, right?
No, it's worse.
Oh no.
It's worse.
Oh, see, I thought they had better management now.
The thing is that like we have management that gives a damn, but we're it's the same kind of problem everybody's having with the whole we're understaffed. Yeah, well, we just started people at like $9.50 an hour. So people are looking at that and they're going, "Hey, the Wendy's that I pass every day that I leave here cuz it's between me and everything else." They've had it up on their marquee forever. Now hiring text whatever to whatever up to $11 an hour. About 3 weeks ago, maybe, they changed the sign to $12. And I can almost guarantee you in a week it's going to say 13. Because nobody wants to work for crap money anymore, and places are hurting. But I don't I don't blame them. I went back because it's a second job, and I got a raise, and I'll take the money.
Yeah.
But I totally understand people who look at it and they just go, no, this isn't for me. It's not worth it. Because it's not, I totally understand that.
Oh yeah.
But
right.
But yeah, it's been fun. There was we didn't open for lunch yesterday for some reason. I don't know why. I didn't ask. My alarm went off. I got up. About 2 minutes later, I got a text. I looked at it and I said, "Oh, okay." So I went back to bed. It's been.
Oh wow.
It's nuts.
No food today.
No pizza for lunch. Sorry, guys.
Right.
It's tough.
Jeez.
And we can't the reason
that's alarming.
It is, but also like the one of the big things is we can't keep delivery drivers, and that I blame on Statesville, because I have said for years the people in Statesville don't tip. They never have, and this is what happens. Like nobody wants to deliver your food, unless a tip is automatic. Like how on DoorDash it's added on at the end at the bottom, and most people don't even look at it. So you're automatically throwing on a $3-4 tip, and you don't even realize it.
Right.
With a pizza place, I don't know of any. There may be some, but I don't know of any that automatically add in a tip. Because the delivery charge that you have to pay, the $2.50, $3, whatever it is, that is not a tip. That is a convenience fee.
Well, that's why companies love that, because tips aren't guaranteed, and their paychecks, they don't have to guarantee them more pay.
Yeah,
it's such a. I always tip when pizza delivery. There's I always try to figure out if I do something new, I'm like, oh wait, like for example, if I get movers or something like that, I look up, hey, what's the appropriate thing to tip for these people? Because you never know, right?
Exactly.
Or if someone comes and works on something, do you tip them? Hell, they're making more than I, make. So I don't know where that is. But for services, especially pizza, that should just be a common knowledge. You should tip them. But at the same time, something has to change with that, right? Like these companies can't continue to get away with paying pennies on a dollar and then go, well, hey, sorry, your guy didn't tip you. That's just the way it is. Like that's so ridiculous.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's been the business model for eons, and
Yeah, I know. I think that's got to change.
I mean, I would have thought so too. But I mean, because I stopped delivering like 4 years ago. Like because I
Yeah.
delivered for a couple of years, and the wear and tear on the car did not match. Because we were
Well,
paid what we were paid. We weren't paid per mile. We were paid per delivery. We got an extra dollar for each
what
delivery
I'm
we took.
what I'm curious about is why. What changed? And this isn't something we can go into right now, but what changed in to where we decided the company should not be paying outright pocket to the person delivering the pizza, the person does that make sense? The person getting it, like when did that shift? Like why is that not on like for example, if pizza companies, just as an example, the pizza industry paid their a delivery person a decent wage, right? Nothing crazy, right? Like we're not talking, like management or anything like that, but a decent wage so that they don't have to rely on tips. Like why is someone even paying a tip in the first place? Because it's on time or something? Like that's what I mean is like I don't get a tip for customer service, so I
Right.
or the tech support or any of the stuff I do behind the scenes for a company. So that's where I'm like, why is it not up to the company to go, hey, we make this amount of profit, let's make sure we pay our employees a decent amount of wage so they don't rely on a tip. I guess that's where like I'm in a weird place because of course I will tip. You should 100% tip because that is the standard. But why? Why is that the standard here and not, in England or someplace else?
Because that's there's it
I'm just saying
with
I would love to figure that out.
I,
I'm gonna look at that later. Like
yeah,
when did that shift?
with
Uh,
delivery drivers, it's I mean it basically spun off of the idea of being a server, because that is in a sense what you do. You are serving them their food, and
right. Okay. Well
somehow
then that's what I'd like to know.
yeah, somehow that became the idea of like, well, these people should have a tip. Between that and bellhops, like it became seen as a service, and
Okay.
it was seen as somebody you tip. And if they're going to be tipped, well, the way U.S. wage laws work, if an employee gets tipped, you can pay them a lot less so that your company can make a lot more money. Uh,
Yeah, it just seems like you could stretch that service for so far if you
you
really
could.
wanted to, because everything's a service. I mean, you're paying for services when you do literally anything. So, yeah, I'm curious about that. I'll look into that later, like, because I am curious, like, why other countries like they're insulted because they're like, hey, I make a good enough wage. You don't have to give me this extra.
Well, it's the way they
Where
look at
here, right.
businesses and wage laws. They don't put the onus on the customer to pay the
Right.
employee. They say, "Hey, the business should pay the employee. That's how work works."
Exactly, especially when a company like what Pepsi owns what Pizza Hut, like when you
No,
have
no,
such
not
a
anymore.
oh, okay. I'm sitting here thinking like you have a massive giant company. Why are you not paying the employees? I don't know. We don't have to get all into
Yeah.
that, but I'm just curious when that shifted because yeah, I always well actually speaking of pizza, okay, so last time we were on the podcast. I think it was around the time I started. It was right before I started my like weight loss journey. Basically, when I decided I've had enough of this. I'm gonna start losing weight. I'm gonna start eating right. And since the ninth is the day that I started weighing myself, and I started. There was the first 2 days I didn't really change my diet too much, but technically I did because I quit fast food that day. I quit soda. I quit like the big things, right? But I still had like steaks and eggs and stuff like that. And then it was that Tuesday that I essentially started an extremely strict diet. So like I haven't had soda since basically the 8th. I haven't used DoorDash since the 8th. I haven't done any of that. I've eaten pretty much my fridge. It's so night and day. I took a picture of it of what it looked like before and what it looked like now. And before it was fast food. It was, I had some chicken and steak and sodas and stuff in there, but like just all terrible stuff. And since the ninth, I have dropped 20.1 pounds.
Ooh, go,
Yeah.
man. Damn.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm
It's
excited.
it's
So,
sugars. People don't understand how much just dropping sugar as a starting
mhm,
point, if nothing else, how much
yes.
that will help. Like you will see a massive difference.
hmm
It's
Oh, yeah.
crazy. Damn, that's fantastic, bro. Look at you go.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. And what we did, I have a coach, and she is helping me essentially plan every meal out. And it's basically we do land protein, or I usually get like berries in the morning or some sort of fruit with tea. So that's how I get my. So for the first like couple of days, I had a headache every day because I stopped caffeine. And I switched to green tea with caffeine, so that seems to do the trick.
That'll
Berries and
kill the withdrawal. Yeah.
it will, yeah. And because I just going cold turkey with that is, oh,
Uh,
I had a headache,
yeah.
and I guess I didn't realize how much food was an addiction until I stopped it. Until I said, I'm not having tacos, I'm not having pizza, I'm not having hamburgers, which is probably hamburgers were probably my favorite. The thing I miss the most, that and pasta. Um, but like I can do alternatives. So like I'll make sirloin. I'll put all the stuff on top of it, pickles and tomatoes and lettuce and onions, and I'll have like a little dab of mayo because I guess mayo is a good fat, but a teeny tiny bit on the side, just to give it that like I'm eating a hamburger without a bun basically, and onions and stuff like that. But like basically, fruit in the morning. Then I have around 2 o'clock. I have a land protein, which is like chicken or sirloin or pork, and then at night it's always from the sea, so it's always some sort of shellfish or regular fish. And it's just been dropping. Some days I'll lose two pounds. Some days I'll lose 1.5. Some days I'll lose zero point 0.7. But there's only one day where I gained weight, and basically we found out what it was because we changed something up. And well, that's the other thing. We're constantly changing things up to make sure the body doesn't, I guess, get in a rhythm.
Right.
And one time we changed something up, and I did gain a little bit. So, but that was that. It's part of the whole process of figuring out what works, what doesn't. Does fasting for one day work? Does it not? That kind of deal. So, but yeah, dude, just consistently dropping it. So, hopefully in a couple months, I'll keep everyone up to date or whatnot. But I'm excited because doing little things. It sounds so dumb and pathetic, but like doing little things like just going places and doing things, I feel lighter. I'm not as exhausted. I'm not as just as terrible as I was before. So, yeah, I'm already noticing a difference. I got new pants. Like that was exciting. Stuff like that. So, I'm looking forward to the next couple of months, really hitting it as much as I'm doing it now. So, and kind of incorporating everything. But yeah, dude, it's been a kind of wild ride. That's kind of been what I've been up to the last couple of weeks. The other thing is I started Final Fantasy 14, or is it 14?
It's 14.
It's 14, yeah. Sorry, all the numbers I get mixed up. You've played this before, right?
I tried it a little bit, and then Persona 5 Strikers came out, so you can understand why that disappeared.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and then yesterday I saw it was on sale on the PSN, and between the sale and the uh, rewards points that I convert off my card into like PSN cards, uh,
hmm
getting the complete edition cost me and that's the with all of the expansions up to Endwalker, which is the one that's not out yet.
Right. So you got
Cost
Shadowbringers.
Yeah, yeah, went up through Shadowbringers. Cost me 61 cents.
Oh, shit.
So I said yeah, I'll do that, and then I bought I signed up for a month, and said, "All right, fine, let's do this. Let's dig into
Hell
this
yeah, dude.
and fall down this rabbit hole." So
Yeah.
I did start getting back into that because between you and my friend Alice, who I get memes every day, every post that's always a riff on some meme that ends with Final Fantasy XIV now has a free trial through level 60.
Oh wow.
And I have seen all of them. It's like guys are disgusting. They only want one thing, and it's Final Fantasy XIV that has a free trial through level 60. It's just like it's every meme. Every meme has done this, and I get them every day. And I was like, I get it. I really do understand, and I will get into this. And I finally, what was the last thing that was holding me back just kind of fell away. I can't remember what it was that I platinumed the other day. But that was my big. Oh, it was Strikers. It was Persona 5 Strikers because it was.
Yeah.
God, it was a grind. Oh, I hated that grind.
Oh yeah.
Because it was obnoxious. That last maxing out your bond levels takes ages.
Yeah. Wow.
It's a pain. It's an absolute nightmare of a grind. And so I thought, sure, I just had a horrible experience grinding something for weeks on end. Let's play an MMO.
Oh, but there's so much to explore. There's so much to do.
There is. It's just I've played a little bit. And
tell me you're on the Crystal data server.
I couldn't tell you where I am. I don't remember.
Oh. So if you could at least make a character on there so we could play together, that would be great. I pray you are. It's the East Coast one, so.
Yeah, I didn't look quite that far.
Oh,
maybe I'll look up during because I have the app, so I'll look up during the show.
Yeah.
And
okay.
And get back to you.
I'm on the Crystal data server. I'm on the Marlborough server. We don't have to be on the same server, just the same data center.
Right.
Yeah, me and a couple friends that I've been playing WoW with for a couple years now. We got, I don't know, a hair up our ass. Basically, we WoW is in this weird spot. We're not alone. There's so many people that are like, I'm good. I've had enough. There's nothing new since the game since the expansion came out. They've had one patch and it was lousy. It was like a 0.5 patch. I think the next patch was going to be a month or two from now, but we're just like, okay, we've had enough. We started playing the Old Republic because it's free, right? It was free for them to sign up, and I of course love Star Wars. I played that game a bunch, so we jumped into that. That was fun. They liked that, and they suddenly went, well, hey, there's other MMOs that are like this that we could play for free. Final Fantasy, and they got hooked. And I had played Final Fantasy XIV maybe a year ago, but maybe for an evening. Yeah. And I didn't get very far. I didn't play with anybody, and that is the problem. MMOs can get incredibly boring and just like, what am I doing if you're by yourself? It's always more fun with people. And so one of the people that we were playing WoW with was like, oh, hey, because he's a streamer. He's like, I have a friend who has like her own community in Final Fantasy. You should join our guild in Discord. And as soon as we did that, holy shit, it was just, and of course it was playing with these close friends that I'm playing with now, and then having a guild to answer questions, to be there. And this guild is awesome. Like they're in the Discord saying good morning to each other. They're all super sane people. You know what I mean? Like, I can't express this enough. The community of WoW can be incredibly toxic, can be incredibly edgelord, and like the opposite kind of experience with I would want to play with. And these people are fucking normal, sane, down-to-earth people, very welcoming, extremely friendly. And their Discord has just been fun to play. So if you do get into Final Fantasy and you do really like it and you want to place you want to join their guild or whatnot, I can totally invite you. And they're super accommodating. Any questions you have, like, hey, I'm trying to do this. This is weird. They're immediately there and they will help. And they've, like I said, I can't stress this enough. They're all sane people. That the problem with guilds is you roll the dice, right? You'll suddenly get one guy that's will suddenly start screaming racist stuff, or this guy will suddenly just start bringing up politics, or this dude is getting really weird and creepy. It's none of that. It's normal people like us, you know what I mean? So that when you find a group of people like that for MMOs, hold on to it. So that's been what's really cool about this Final Fantasy experience is it's a whole new game to me. I'm actually giving it a chance. There's a lot of similarities with WoW, but there's a lot of things that they do differently. Like there's a lot of the polish that Blizzard has that Final Fantasy just doesn't. It's more like wait, I gotta do these 4 tasks just to find out like this thing. Where in WoW, it's like you just bring up this menu and it's there. But then there's other aspects where Final Fantasy 14 is so much simpler than WoW. So it's weird. It's this weird like it's like they both get to the same point, but they took different roads.
Yeah.
And it's very fascinating to see. And like I said, I've said this like 15 times. The community is what's keeping me there. Playing with my friends that we've been playing WoW with. Like this week, there's a WoW event going on, and we're just like, what? Like, who cares? We're making our dragoons, we're making our warriors and our black mages, and I also love that you can do all the classes in one character.
Yes, yeah. I thought that was a smart choice for them to make.
Yeah, that was a brilliant move. That's something you can't do with WoW. And that's one of the things where I'm like, oh, Final Fantasy has the edge here with that because you can do that. The only other problem I have is you can't make like a bank ult and stuff like that. So like there's give and take with both of it. But so far I'm enjoying the hell out of it. I'm enjoying the story is a little confusing, but it is Final Fantasy. So
yeah, it's gonna take you some time, especially with playing. With playing on a Realm Reborn, because there was a whole game before this.
Yes.
Because 1.0 was its own game, and it was too much for what was happening at the time. Like, the hardware was having issues, and not just on PlayStation, but PCs were struggling too. And it's that thing of, like, this game looks fantastic, it could be amazing, but holy shit, the bugs. And it was an uphill, but it was too much of an uphill battle. And what they did, instead of trying to just sort of just patchwork everything, they said, okay, fine, we're going to end the story, take however many months it was off, and then relaunch it. So because what we're playing is essentially Final Fantasy XIV Part 2. Because 1.0 was a whole thing, and then when they relaunched it with a Realm Reborn, like that was bold. Like you don't end an MMO, but they did because they said, look, this is not working, and we hate this. We understand your frustration. We get why you're angry. We are angry too. So here's what we're gonna do. We're going to have a literal end game, and then we're going to relaunch with a new game that takes place in the future. And it was a bold as hell move. And it worked.
Oh, yeah.
And it worked out because this game's been going on. This is the 3rd generation this game on. This is the GTA 5 of MMOs. Like, it's insane. Oh, yeah.
Have you seen the Vice documentary, the 3-part Vice documentary on Final Fantasy XIV?
No. I didn't.
I'm sorry, not Vice. It was No Clip.
No Clip. That made more sense. No, but I'll bet I'm going to add that to my shit.
You got something to watch today. Oh, excellent. Boy, is that good. Yes. They interview everyone from it, and yeah, they basically touch on a lot of what you say, but they go into way more detail about how, like, there were things in the original one that you were just like, well, wait a second, you should be able to jump. Why can't he jump?
Yeah.
Like, there were basic things that were missing from it. They also go into detail. What was cool is how they ended the world.
Yeah.
They left little, like, there was a like in Game of Thrones where you see the red comet, they kind of did that. They're like, that star's getting bigger, but they didn't tell anybody what it was doing, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then now when you boot up the game, you see what happened. You see that asteroid come and take the realm out. But yeah, Yoshi P, they go into detail. I was also, because I went down a rabbit hole. I saw this other video where they're interviewing him, and he locked himself in a hotel room for like a week with a carton of cigarettes and planned it out, and then went to the team and went to them with like two options. He was like, "Here's plan A, here's plan B," and obviously they went with the plan to just completely nuke the original game, and instead of just patch it, they were like, "We're going to end it. We're going to continue forward with something that's going to work." And it's never been done before, and I don't know if it'll ever be done again. They're never going to end WoW, and if they do, it's not going to be the same circumstances. This could have easily bankrupted the company if it didn't work out, and it did, because now like there's more people talking, I think, about Final Fantasy than Warcraft. Because like I said, this week I've kind of gone down a rabbit hole, and most of the videos I see are people, ex-WoW players playing Final Fantasy, and here are the differences, and like, because that's what I was kind of looking for. I'm like, what do I need to know? Because I know dungeons, I know raids, I know all the mechanics for how Warcraft works, but like, there's some very different things with Final Fantasy. So anyway, you're gonna enjoy that. It's a really cool 3-part documentary about, the first part is all about the original, the middle is all about the rebuilding, and then the third part is about like, here's what Final Fantasy is now, here's what it means to the devs. Oh, that's the other thing. I'll say this. I've talked about the community. The community is the best thing about going to Final Fantasy. But also everything that I'm seeing, the devs are the complete opposite of what Blizzard is now. Yeah. It's almost it's like what Blizzard used to be, where you had Chris Metzen and all these people on the front lines excited, there with the fans. They were, they played the game just with them. And now it's basically just Activision, where with Final Fantasy, their devs are on stage rocking a guitar at basically their BlizzCon. It just happened like a week ago.
Yeah.
But for Final Fantasy, their dev is out there in the new Reaper cosplay. The guy creating the music comes out on stage, and he talked about how he unfortunately got cancer, but it's in remission, thank God. It just seems way more personal. Like they're and they. People will complain about something and they'll fix it, instead of going, well, no, we're just going to see how it works. Like, it just seems so night and day, the difference between the community and, they're not coming out on stage going, do you guys have phones?
No.
Right? Yeah.
No. They're coming out on stage and everybody is going, why is he wearing that particular shirt today? Because it's always exactly. Like, everything is done for a reason. And I love my buddy Alice at work has been, if there has been and I know there is a Pope of Final Fantasy XIV. That's one of the things that she's talked about. But if there was a Saint Peter going out into all the world and preaching the gospel of Final Fantasy XIV, it would be her. She has.
Oh, awesome!
It has been just constant, but not the things. I don't want it to sound like I've been badgered about it. It's just like, hey, this thing that's really cool. Hey, this is really interesting. When they announced Endwalker. When they the first bit of news with the little trailer and everything, we went off to the side, and it was like, she was just like, hey, I'm gonna watch this. Do you want to watch? And I was like, yeah, sure. And just kind of leaned over, and I was like, all right, I don't know anything about this game. I don't know what the hell's going on, but damn, that looks cool. Okay, well, let me explain to you kind of what's going on, and it does a great job of not overloading with like, here's all of the lore as to why this built up to this particular point and why you're wearing this armor. It's like, no, here's the stuff that you need to know to get this. Oh, okay, cool. Okay. That sounds neat. Can you tell me some more about, whatever? Yeah, sure, totally. And then does it that way. Does it right. Explains it the right way. And I think that's just, that to me was fantastic, because it made it interesting without making me feel like, yeah, I have a base knowledge of Final Fantasy because I've played them for, my entire life. But this one's a little different. And so, you can get overloaded with lore real fucking easy. But
oh yeah, I need her to help me, because I've looked into the behind the scenes stuff, but I've only peeked into the lore a little bit.
I would love to get her on just to do a 14 centric episode, because it's one of those things that you start that pebble down a mountainside and it turns into a rock
Mm-hmm.
slide. Like she knows this stuff cold top to bottom. Has been playing it for years and just dives into it.
Dude, that would be great.
And
I would love that.
it's fantastic. But I love, you were talking about the community for 14,
Yes.
and that's everything that you see online. Whenever somebody talks
Mm-hmm.
about MMO communities, usually it's like Warcraft, flip a coin.
Yeah.
It's hit or miss. And if it's hit,
Yep.
it's great. If it's miss, it's exactly what you're afraid of. But
Right.
but for 14, the community is you have to really really dig to find anything negative, because they're
Oh
just
yeah.
supportive as hell, because they're like, no,
Mm-hmm.
we want people to enjoy this game, which is how it's
Yes.
supposed to be. And I'm not saying it's a perfect community, because I'm sure there are elements out there that are as bad as WoW people sometimes, but
Mm-hmm.
that's not the primary, like that those are the outliers, instead of just like the, well, that's how it is when you have a big player base. The bad side of that community is very much pushed away, and I think that
Right.
helps and it makes it fantastic. But yeah, that's almost all you see about whenever somebody talks about the 14 community, is just how supportive they are, and I think that's awesome.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. I think I saw somewhere like WoW used to make you want to waste your time, right?
Yes.
Now it feels like you're wasting your time when you play it. Where I
Yes.
have the opposite. I have with Final Fantasy XIV, I want to waste my time with it. And it just flies. It literally flies. We played over the weekend with my friends, and during the week it's always spotty. We can't really all get on at the same time, so it's a little bit different. But like I can't wait again to the weekend to jump in with them and run around and do shit. And it's a whole fucking new world to explore. And like you said, dude, the community is just, it has been overwhelmingly welcome, to where like I didn't know what to do. I'm like, these guys are way too nice. I was looking for that, like there's got to, what's going on, there's got to be something here that I'm missing. And I'm like, oh shit, they got a channel for their selfies and their pets and like community art, and they do what's called glamour contest like every month, where they like show off like this I guess these couple of weeks is like punk rock theme. Like they're just so fucking cool. Like these guys are awesome, and I can't get over how awesome the community is. So it's what's gonna, I think, keep us. I'll probably still play WoW when the next patch comes out and expansion, because I'm a sucker. But this is where I think I'm probably gonna be spending most of my time when it comes to an MMO.
Well, and
Because
it's a whole new thing to explore too.
yes, oh yeah, absolutely. And I looked at Shadowbringers, like, and I like that they're on a pretty tight schedule. It looks like they're going to be doing an expansion every 2 years. Even during COVID, they had some stuff that was delayed, but the community seemed to be really excited about every patch that they got, and it was communicated well and executed well. So I hope it's like that with Endbringer. Yeah, I would love to talk to your friend, because I've seen the trailer and I'm like, all of this looks sick. The Reaper, and you're on the moon, I think, and I'm like,
Yep.
this, but I have no idea any of the characters. With Warcraft, you could show me a still of anything, and I can be like, that's this character from this location, probably during this time frame. But with
Right.
with Final Fantasy, I'm like, I have no idea what I'm
That's
looking at.
Yeah, that's exactly how she is. Like
Cool,
it's
cool.
just it's watching that trailer, and it's like, and this is when this is them, and you'll meet them at this point. This one's kind of spoilery because they didn't show it off at first, because it showed the Reaper class, and it's like, oh yeah, cool,
Hmm.
okay, I get that.
Yeah.
It's like you're on the moon because you kind of have to fight the moon, and it's fucking it's weird because it's Final Fantasy. Of course you do.
Right,
But it's the
right.
whole. It ties into the mythology of the world that you're on, and it's the
Hmm.
end of this particular part of the story.
Yeah.
With and I'm not even going to attempt to try to remember which, because it's basically between the, what is it, the Earth Spirit and the Moon Spirit, more or less. And I know people just cringe because I guarantee I'm getting this wrong, but it's the idea that there's two. It's the two uh, gods of sorts. It's
Right.
ending that part of the story.
Okay.
So that's
Yeah.
why it's called Endwalker. Like it's definitely
Oh.
it is a bit of a narrative end. It's like this chapter is closed, and then where do we go from here?
Oh yeah.
But it's very like there is a plan. Oh, there's a plan.
Yeah. Well, man, I'm just you're bringing up the Earth and the Moon, and I'm thinking about the character creation process, and like that's the first raid boss, right? Is character creation, like going in there, and there's so much to do because, like for example, you were talking about the moon and the earth, and I was thinking that when you're doing the cat people, they have like completely different. They have like two different kinds. One is Earth, or yeah, one is lunar. One is Earth, basically during the day and at night, and like the differences between them, and all this like it gets so you pick the god that you worship in the game. There's just so much in the character creation that I loved. I was like, this is going to take up probably an hour for me to figure out what I want to play.
Yeah.
But I
It's
loved it, dude.
yeah, and Zodiac, the Highlander and Zodiac story is what I was looking for.
Oh,
Because
okay.
Highlander is the crystal and Zodiac is the opposite force. If I remember,
See,
and
I don't.
I'm gonna hear about this when I go to work tomorrow. But it's
Yeah.
it's that's the base idea there is that this part of the story is wrapping up with Endwalker, and that's why you're on the moon and shit. But
Okay. See,
it's gonna be really interesting. Like I'm looking forward to experiencing this story because I've heard about it for what feels like ever, just because there's so much of it. And it's gonna be
oh
fun
yeah.
to dig into and actually experience it going forward, and especially with all the expansions. Like this this is the most I'm going to have put into an MMO since EverQuest, which
Oh
dates me a little
damn.
bit. Like that's
Yeah.
I no, I was there when they pulled Terraform from the server. Like I
Oh
was
wow.
there for that, and I've like that turned me off of MMOs because you put
Hmm.
so much time and so much effort into that, and everyone got organized. I've never seen an online game community get that organized before, and
Hmm.
barring Eve and certain WoW events, haven't seen it since. But
Right.
and then they just
Well.
they just yoinked it away, and I was like, that's it, I'm done with this. I put all this work and all this time, and then they can just say, nah, you're not gonna do that. Like, fuck that. So I left. That
Hmm.
was why I barely ever touched an MMO for years, and I'm talking
Yeah.
years. Um,
Yeah.
but
I've tried too many. Unfortunately, I've wasted way too much money on them. Um, yeah, dude. Speaking of community events, that's part of the documentary they talk about when they ended the original 1.0 of this game, where the I don't know, it was in Old Dan, I believe, and they had a whole bunch of people on mounts. There's like these big stone things walking around, and they're outside of the gates. And I guess when basically the devs were told throw a lot of shit at these people so that their characters can die because like it's the end of the server, so we want to go out and they were just like, we want chaos to happen in the realm, we want it to be epic, we're going to basically spawn these amazing awesome things, some things they've never seen before.
yeah,
And they were like, they held fast at the gates and they would not let any of these creatures go through, and they held on for as long as they could. And the devs were, he goes, the guy kept running up and bringing up codes to me going, put this monster in the game. He put the monster in the game and they kill it, and they go, what are we gonna do? They keep killing. So like little things like that I found so, it was an awesome little documentary. Yeah, dude, yeah, I'd love to pick your friend's brain because I don't know anything of what you just talked about. I'm all the beginning stuff, and this was kind of the warning I was given when starting this. They basically told me, hey, Realm Reborn is probably the most boring the game gets.
that's what I've heard, and
Uh,
it's also the
yeah,
biggest grind is
the
just to get
biggest
through a
grind
Realm Reborn.
because it's very much a traditional MMO during that part. where it's fetch quest after fetch quest after get this, get that, get this, bring it here, go there. Okay, okay, okay. Once you get out of that, that's where I hear it really opens up, and that's where it really becomes this, from a caterpillar to a butterfly. So I'm having a blast going because I love MMOs. I love the going up the levels and getting that ding and that, those endorphins are just popping in my head. So I'm good. And plus, if you play with people and you're talking and you're chatting about your day, you're making jokes, you're sending memes, that's the fun part of it, is going leveling up. But yeah, I can't wait to get to the part where like the story really starts to get serious and big things happen. Little things are happening right now with like pirates and stuff like that, but like all the trailers I see are like end of the world stuff. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm looking forward to.
Where
So.
where did you start? What city did you start in?
I think it's Old Dan, like the deserty city with
Okay, yeah, me too.
yes, all the little people. I started out as a black mage. I forget the name of the race, but I'm a sea wolf.
Okay.
Big guy. He's like white. You can make him like white or blue, but he's like pale white. Um, uh, but I made a black mage. From what I understand, you can change at 50. You can change your entire character. So I think I'm probably gonna go to the dragon guy or something like that. I made an alt, so I made one of the lions. But then I found out you don't really. I found out two things. You don't really need an alt in the game, and it makes it kind of pointless. And I didn't. One thing I didn't like about the lions were, I think they were called Rhaegar or something like that. They can't wear a lot of the helmets. And if I'm gonna be a black mage, I want a tall pointy hat, right?
Yeah,
So I was like,
that's fair.
yeah. I was like, well, I guess I can't make that guy. So um, I probably should find out the name of the race, but the big guys, the tallest guys in the game, not the elves, but like the big thick dudes, the units. I just don't know the name of them. I made that. So I'm this big guy with a big pointy hat, and I could not be more excited because in Warcraft I would play a mage. So I was like, oh, this is the closest, like, this makes sense to me. There's fire, there's frost, there's lightning. From what I understand, the rotation's simple, but I like that at a drop of a dime, you're like, you know what? I could go play a dragoon. I'll go play a dragoon. And at 50, I can change my race if I want to like get a little bit more into it and be one of the dragon people. Or I think like if you want to, you can just pay $10 and change your entire thing as well. So that's not bad. I like that idea that if any time I'm like, you know what, I want to go a completely different direction with my character, you can go get a different job. That's what they're called in the game instead of I'm not saying that to you because I know you know, but anyone listening, if you play Warcraft, uh, instead of your class, they call them jobs here. So you would change your job to, I don't know, if I want to be a dragoon, and I go, you know what, I want to also be that race, the dragon race. I can do that as well. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope you and your friend play on the Crystal data server because that would be really cool. You could pop in and say hello.
Yeah, I forget.
Does she?
I meant to look up
Okay.
which one I was on, and I forgot. I think I was on. I think I was on Aether.
Oh, okay.
I
Well,
think.
dang. Oh well. Maybe I'll make a tune on there. Play with you guys.
Yeah.
Wait, is Aether the server or the data center?
The data center.
Oh, okay. Gotcha, gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha.
because I think Siren is the server I'm on, which I think is on Aether as a data center.
Okay, okay. Okay, well, cool. Um, but yeah, I'd love to pick a brain because I don't know anything about the lore. I would love to sit and listen to her explain to me exactly what's going on, because that would make it so much more uh, enthralling.
Yeah,
So
no, and I mean it's like I mean it's base, it's almost encyclopedic,
hell yeah.
which I get. Like it's not a knock or anything. Like look at this nerd. Like
Hmm.
no, it's
No,
she's invested as hell in this, so of course she knows everything. Like
dude,
that's
that's
what
what
happens when you get into something.
Oh yeah, that was me kind of going to the comic book store the first time and hearing them talk about like, oh, there's not just the Flash. No, no, no. Or there's not. Oh, no. I'm sorry. What really got me was when I started going back to the comic store for the first time for a while, and they were like, there's not just the Green Lantern. There's Blue Lanterns. There's Red Lanterns. And I'm like, what? There's a White Lantern. And I'm like, holy shit, now I'm interested. Like, wait, what's going on? This is awesome. It's like its own little side. So yeah, dude, just getting a peek into that world, and I love lore of stuff. And I I would love to know more about what's going on. And they call us the WoW refugees in the guild we joined. I love that. And we're not alone. Like there's a content creator, Jesse Cox. He got, I don't want to say internet famous, but he makes a living off of making videos on YouTube now because he started out making content for WoW with Cataclysm. Him and I don't know if you would know Total Biscuit, for example.
Okay.
He was him and Total Biscuit had like a show together and stuff like that. He was right around that time where those people became popular. Rest in peace, Total Biscuit. And he now plays Final Fantasy. He doesn't play WoW anymore. And I was looking at his video, and he started this year, and I was like, oh, like I feel like he went through the same thing I'm kind of going through now, where like he was learning everything, and now when I watched one of the videos he was watching, and he knew, he's like, oh, that's that character. Wait, what are they doing there? And like I was like, oh, I can't wait to know that. I feel like I'm going in circles, but man, I'm excited.
It's a fun spiral.
Yeah, it is. It's been a blast to get into. I'm looking forward to playing more of it. Probably as soon as I get off tonight. If we weren't recording the podcast, exactly what I would be doing. Does she play on PlayStation or does she play on her computer?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay. That's the other cool thing is like this is totally cross. You can play on your character on the PlayStation 4 and 5 and on the PC. The only difference is you just have to buy it on each console. That's all.
Yeah.
But if you're obsessed with it, dude, like the good thing about an MMO is it's there is a subscription price, but you can get so much out of it for a very long time where you're not buying a game here, buying a game there. It can be the game that you're playing. So I know I own Realm Reborn on PlayStation. I don't know if I own the expansions, but I kind of want to. I might jump into that later to see what that's like to jump back and forth. But I don't know. I'm having a blast right now. I'm really looking forward to playing more. Ooh.
No, I'm like I said, I think I'm up to like level 12. I think like I haven't done a whole hell of a lot, but I am just enjoying the hell out of it. Mm-hmm. I really am.
Oh yeah.
And like I said, it's been a long time. I'm trying to think of the last time I tried to play WoW. Really sat down and gave it a try, and it's been over a decade. Honestly.
Oh, it's not even the same. Yeah, it's not even the same game now.
Oh no, God, no. Like I know it's way, 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 way different now. But I sat down and I was like, all right, I'm gonna because it did they did like a 30-day trial or something, and I was like, all right, fine, I'll give it a shot. What the hell? And I played for a couple days and was just like, nah, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, MMOs are daunting, and especially if you don't have people to play it with. I don't know if you were not playing with people when you tried WoW, but I quit WoW anytime I didn't have a group of friends to play with. Almost like a day or two in, because I'm like, what am I doing? I'm not like it's grindy, and there's no one to there's no community. But man, I'm not having that problem right now, especially with Final Fantasy. They've been great. It's been a cool little community to be a part of, and they're so welcoming. But yeah, dude, I hopefully we could play together. Maybe maybe I'll make a tune on your server and level them up as well. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about it. See how further you get in the next couple of weeks. I think I'm at 22 now.
Nice.
I just did my first dungeon, which is incredibly similar to the first dungeon you do in Warcraft, where I'm like, this is exactly like Dead Mines. Oh, and there's a big fish person at the end too. This is, and I think it might have been their like little love letter to it or something. I see what you're doing here. Well, very much like the Goonies.
Yeah, like apparently, and this is something that I've heard about and seen everybody talk about. the references and puns in particular are just everywhere,
Oh
especially
yeah.
once you get going. Like I am
Hmm.
excited and dreading it because I love to hate puns,
Oh yeah.
which is why my
Yeah,
own
it's
sense of
great.
humor just drives me crazy. Because
Oh yeah.
it's the same kind of deal. So I'm like, bring on the references. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's have at it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, dude, I've been having a blast with it. It's a whole world to explore. Like I just walked into this area and there's a castle with like it looks like fire is going through the castle, but it's frozen. I can't explain it. I don't know what I'm looking at when I see it, but I told my friend, I'm like, "Oh my God, did you see this?" And she's like, "What?" And I'm like, "There's a castle with fire going." She's like, "Really?" And I shared my screen through Discord. She's like, "Oh, I've never seen that." And I was like, "Really?" And I went into an area there, and I'm like, "Wait a second, you were here the other day because I was watching your screen." And she goes, "Oh, I guess I just never looked up." And it's like, "You gotta look up. Look at the skybox. That's awesome." And we laugh about it because she's in that area. She just didn't notice it because she was looking down. So that was funny. But I'm like, look at this castle. I can't even explain what I'm looking at, but that's what I'm talking about. Like I'm excited to explore the world of Final Fantasy and see what else is out there. The monsters are also super creative. Like it's not just like a boar running by. They're very, I don't know, they're weird
Yeah.
in a good way.
Well, I mean, that's Final Fantasy for you. Like they've never shied away from like, hey, you know what your enemy is? It's it's a cloud of bees.
Right.
But
Exactly.
why? Well, because we didn't want it to be just one bee. We did that over here. Now we're gonna give you a cloud of bees. What's next?
Right,
I
right.
don't know. I don't know. We'll pull something, and then we'll stick feathers on it. Like
Yep.
it's
And I
so
ran into those cactus, the ones from Final Fantasy, the ones with their arms all,
the
up and
cactuar.
down.
Yeah,
Yeah, the cacti.
I love them. I love that they were like an entry level monster. That like you see them
Yes.
up front with everything. I was like, ah, okay. There's the kiss of the original series. That's like, okay, I get it. Little sprinkle here and there. I'm good.
Yep. 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 Oh, I forgot to mention. I don't have the creator's name in front of me. Um, so this was maybe you could look it up for me. The creator of Berserk passed away.
Yes, I saw that, and I saw the tributes that was going on in 14. Kentaro Miura
Yes, and
was the
so
creator.
that happened to be the day that I first tried the game. So I was in Old Dan. I believe it's Old Dan. I'm probably saying it wrong. Oldar, Old Dan. I'm sorry,
Old Dan, I think.
but
Yeah, I think that's right.
Old Dan, yeah. And when you start out, you're in an instance, so you're not really seeing other players. You have to do a couple quests real fast, and then suddenly you're in the instance with everyone else. And I'm sitting there going, what is going on? Like I knew that this was not normal, like a normal MMO, because they had looked like hundreds of people just in a row lined up in Oldan, and it was all Death Knights or Dark Knights.
Dark Knights.
Sorry,
It was all Dark Knights.
yeah,
Yeah, because
Dark Knights.
you don't get that without Berserk. That popularized that
Yes,
style of a character creation.
and that's what my buddy explained to me. He goes,
Yeah.
all of these people are paying their respects because he passed away, and it was just such a it was yeah, man, going up and down and looking at all the different people and all of their gear, like it was just it was just I have never really experienced something like that in an MMO where there was just so, oh, I guess Wreckful, when Wreckful passed away, WoW sort of did like a memorial for him too. But this was like the way they were lined up, and they're all in the chat talking about him and stuff like that, in the general chat,
Yeah.
and it was just, I was like, I was like, you guys got to come. And so my friends ended up making a character there real fast to check it out because their characters were all in different places. One was in the Pirate Land, I don't know the name of it. One was in the where it looked more like the Shire, like the green and stuff like that. And I was in the Eldan where it's like sandy, and they're like, wait, what? And I was like, yeah, come here. And so they ended up making the character and looking at all the people, and yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, he had cancer, correct?
Uh,
I don't want to.
let me check real quick. Because
I
I
know
had
he down. pretty young, so
Yeah, he was only 54.
yeah.
That I remember. I don't remember uh, the cause. No, he
Okay.
it the cause was apparently acute aortic dissection, which
Oh.
his aorta tore, and
Oh.
that was what killed him. There's the
Hmm.
these. I hate to say speculation, but the kind of accepted wisdom is that it was stress slash work related, because
Gotcha.
he was notoriously just a hardcore perfectionist, which is why
Yeah.
Berserk was always something that took forever to come out, was because he was, tweaking and editing and correcting, and then when it went to digital, he would often go pixel by pixel.
Yeah.
Like, it's the level of devotion to the art. I mean, and it's, you know for everybody who wants to say, well, that's obsessive, that's too much. This guy had a vision, and he was going to have it realized, and so it required doing that kind of work.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I saw on the 20th, um, Amazon's top 25 were all of his work, essentially all of his uh, deluxe editions, and whatnot. It was the entirety of Amazon's top 25.
Nice.
Uh, yeah, so people were buying his stuff. Berserk is something that like I've seen, I've heard of, I never read, I've never seen the anime. I saw a couple clips after I found out about him. And yeah, seems people really loved this guy and what he did and his work. So
Well, and it influenced so much of, especially like what we think of, a lot of,
mhm.
especially with how we play video games, a lot of them, coming from Japanese devs, a lot of
Yeah,
a lot of the like dark fantasy elements in particular, a lot of
yeah,
that you get from Berserk. The idea of what a Dark Knight is supposed to look like, that design, that
right.
comes from Berserk. The protagonist with the giant sword. Somebody like Cloud. We don't get him without Berserk.
Hmm.
Like, that was where
Right.
that got popular, and that's where that
Hmm.
that rolled with it.
Right,
So
right, right.
there are a lot of things that we look at. I mean, look at the Dark Souls and Demon Souls and Bloodborne. A lot of that
Hmm.
stuff, you know, you can trace that design line back to Berserk, and
Yeah.
it's wild to think about the kind of things that you don't even think about now, because at the time it was a while ago from now, but you look back and you're
Hmm.
like, oh damn, that had to do, like, that's where this came from.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw a lot of the tributes, and I thought that was really cool. That was
Oh
awesome.
yeah. Yeah, it was definitely an experience to check that out, to do it live without knowing what was going on. It was like, oh wow.
Yeah, that must
Uh,
that's something that I've never experienced. To actually be a part of, to show up and see that going on. Like,
yeah,
that must have been really something.
yeah. It was literally my first experience with the game. It was, oh my, or well, I played a little bit before, but I mean, really giving it a try. I was like, oh wow, what the heck is going on? All these people are lined up, posed, with a big sword over their back. And I'm just like, and then my friend explained to me just the way you did. What's interesting? Uh, sort of has to do with this in a way. You brought up souls and stuff. A rumor is, and this is from Polygon, this just was on the 24th, that Team Ninja is making a Final Fantasy Soul-like action game.
Yeah, they're gonna call it Final Fantasy Origin. I've been hearing rumblings about this, and I think we're gonna see something at E3. Um,
Oh wow.
and I like that's because, I mean, they're going to have, because we know Square's going to have a show at E3. They talked about that a while ago. Um, so that's,
Hmm.
and I wonder if that's a way of like, hey, we're working on, we've got Endwalker coming out. We're also working on Final Fantasy 16. We've got
Hmm.
we've got remake Intergrade coming out. By the way, here's another new Final Fantasy game. That's
Right.
These guys work themselves to death,
They
and it's
really do.
it's nuts. I mean, more power to them. Like, they keep turning out good product, Avengers
Uh-huh.
notwithstanding. But
Right.
there hasn't been a bump in the Final Fantasy road. I mean, 13 was a little hit and miss, because
Hmm.
you had three of them. But
Right.
I mean, 12 was off in its whole different direction, and 12 is one of the more divisive ones because either you love the hell out of it or you can't stand it. I've never met anybody who has played Final Fantasy 12 who was just like, meh, it was a game. Like, no.
Yeah.
Either you got into it or you couldn't stand it.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but I, I'm excited about this. I'm really
Hmm.
curious to see, like, with Team Ninja working on it. That's okay. I mean, those guys are just coming off of Nio and all that. Like, I'm
Hmm.
okay. Like, let's see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. That should be interesting. Um. Yeah, dude. That's man. It's just. I don't know. It's been a wild ride with Final Fantasy. I also been doing a lot of Pokemon Go, dude. Walking around. I at least try to get out there 30 minutes to an hour a day. Just walk and ride around and catch Pokemon. Not really much to talk about except for the events that are going on, which is always fun. Um, they're throwing in the legendaries from X and Y right now, though. So they gotta slow down. I think they need to stop adding new Pokemon because they're gonna get to a point where they don't have new ones. I don't know what they're gonna do. Um,
Oh, they'll make
uh,
other new ones, I'm sure.
well, that's true. I mean, technically, they made what Meltion for the game first, and then it came out on what the Pokemon Go for Switch or whatnot, or Pikachu, Eevee, whatever. So you're right. They probably could totally just be like, "What is this mysterious new Pokemon?" you know? Um,
It's attractive.
yeah.
Like,
Right. Right. Yeah. Exactly. Oh, I like it when they get weird. I love the trash one and the ice cream one. Um, but yeah, so that's been fun. They added their last Eevee evolution, which was Sylveon, the
Sylveon,
fairy
yeah.
one. Yeah, yeah. So she's in it this weekend. So I've been doing a bunch of that as well, trying to get out and get motivated. Got my Apple Watch, trying to close the rings. Um, that's been fun. Yeah, dude, we haven't even got into the news yet.
No, no, we haven't.
Dude, so yeah, let's get into some of the news, man.
Yeah, let's
Um,
big week for trailers this week.
yes.
We finally got an Eternals trailer.
Hmm.
And what did you think?
I loved it.
It's
I
it's interesting. It's different.
yes.
It's very different. And I'm
Hmm.
excited. Like that I thought was great. Where it's like, yeah, this doesn't look like any of the other Marvel movies.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I
Oh,
wanted. Like, I'm down.
right. Yeah, you nailed it. It doesn't look anything like the other ones, and that's such a good thing. It looks so different. I think it does a great job. It doesn't tell you that much, but at the same time, you get a feel of what these characters are, kind of their story. Like they've been here for a while. It looks like they're because from what I understand, they're and I believe you talked about this. Did you read the Neil Gaiman run?
I did, yes.
Okay. Apparently, that's what a lot of people are saying. It looks like that's what they pulled from a lot of his run, where they might be finding out who they are. They've been here for a while, but maybe they're not entirely sure, um, or they're finding each other essentially.
Yeah.
And it shows them like throughout time. It shows the ship at the beginning, and it kind of gives you a flash of all these characters. And like you said, the first thing I noticed was just how different it looked. It it just looked great. Uh, I don't know. This is probably the one I'm most excited for.
Fair. Just
I
because
think
it's something off the wall and like it's the one I think with the least amount of expectation because nobody knows what it is.
yes, very true. Um, Yeah, Chang-Chi had the I kind of got a feeling of what that's going to be about. I feel they showed way more in that trailer than what we saw in this.
Yeah.
Sometimes less is better. And yeah, these are characters I don't know much about. I have the digital Neil Gaiman stuff on my iPad ready to go, so I'm going to be reading that this week. But yeah, once I heard about the Neil Gaiman thing, I was like, oh, I love Neil Gaiman. So, yeah, dude, it looks interesting, and I like at the end of the little scene where he's like one of the characters is basically like the Flash, and they fly, and I'm like, these guys look like their own Avengers or like Justice League or whatever. So I'm excited. I like the little, the little joke at the end about I forget the character's name. The guy from Game of Thrones, Rob from Game of Thrones, where he makes a joke about how he could be the leader of the Avengers now.
Yeah.
Because they said since Iron Man and Captain Rogers is missing. So I don't know. I thought it was a cool look at it, and the biggest takeaway from it was just how awesome it looked and different it looked than everything we've seen before. But yeah, dude, I loved it. I thought it looked great.
Yeah. No, I am cautiously optimistic. Like this is something that could also go very, very wrong.
Oh yeah.
It's again, it's a group, here we are with Marvel saying, hey, here's a group of heroes that nobody really knows anything about, so we're going to make a movie out of them. It worked out well the last time they did that.
Oh yeah. Oh exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And there's some weird things in there too. Like, did you notice how many times they showed Captain America's shield?
Yeah.
They showed the one from the 40s, and in when they're doing karaoke in what looked like a plane. And then they showed the round one with Angelina Jolie's character. So it's like, wait a second. Why do they keep showing Captain America's shield this? And then they say his name. Like, is he going to be in this? Like, because he is a time traveler now, so he could technically. I don't want to get into theories and all that stuff, but wait, why are you showing his shield so many times? So that could be fun.
Yeah.
And not just this movie. I shouldn't say about this movie. That's something they could do in any of these movies, right? Like, he could pop up literally anywhere. So that's exciting.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. Yeah, like I said, they didn't show much, but what they showed, I was like, okay, I'm in, It showed the kids from Game of Thrones too, so I was like, oh, this is gonna be fucking awesome. What's his face? I forget the actor's name. He plays Jon Snow.
Kit Harington.
Kit Harington. He's the Black Knight in this, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Which is cool. He's got like a lightsaber. That should be fun. Or wait, it's like a black sword. It's a black sword or a lightsaber?
We'll split the difference and call it the dark saber.
Okay, there we go. It's a dark saber. Yeah. So I'm on board. This comes out this year, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's September. No, hang on.
Should be the end of the year, right?
No. Spider-Man's the last one.
Oh.
It's because it's. I forget if it's Shang-Chi first or
November.
the Eternals first. Okay, so Shang-Chi is. So it's Black Widow in June, Shang-Chi in July, Shang-Chi in September, Eternals November, Spider-Man December. That's right.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, this is probably the one I'm most excited about. It seems the most grand. It seems the most, I don't know, it just seems wild.
Yeah.
So cool. And they're the same race as Thanos, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to read that book.
Yeah, it's an interesting read. It's a very interesting read because it's very Neil Gaiman, which is I mean, and I say that as a selling point.
That's perfect. Yeah, that's what I want. And
it's a limited. I think the reason that they're pulling from this is because when it comes to Eternals, this is the most well-known, story because it's also a limited story. It's what, 6 issues, 8 issues, maybe.
Right, and they're birthing them kind of back into the Marvel universe, right?
Yeah.
With his run. Okay. Which there's a current run right now that apparently is really good. It's like 6 issues deep or something like that right now, but from what I understand, it's good, and it's another. I think it's the main character. I keep forgetting. I don't know his name. The main Rob Stark's character in the movie.
Right.
he like because I did start that one. It opens up with him being born again, essentially, coming back to Earth. Or they're born on. It's hard to. I don't know. Anyway, he's coming back. So a lot of people seem to really like this one. So I don't know. I'm interested. I'm in.
Yeah.
Sold.
Nah, it looks good.
Yeah.
What did you think about the Venom Let There Be Carnage trailer?
Oh boy. It looks like a good movie from 10 years ago.
I'm cautiously optimistic for this one. I want this to be I honestly probably better than it's going to be, but I really think it's going to try. It looks like they took the lessons they learned from Venom. They were like, "Hey, we made Venom, cool," and then they listened to what people said and tried to do better. It does look like it looks like there was a legitimate effort made to make a better, more enjoyable movie, and I like that they opened the trailer with Eddie and Venom, like that. I mean, that's just pure odd couple plus chaos energy.
Right.
And I'm okay with that. Like, I think, especially for the way they're telling the story with those characters, that works. And I like that they're kind of leaning into that. I enjoyed that. I'm still wary about Woody Harrelson as Carnage. I still would have loved more of a Dane DeHaan kind of casting. But I mean, we'll see. Like, it's not a knock on Woody. He's a fantastic actor. I'm just that's the part that I'm most concerned is perhaps a bit of a strong word about.
Yeah.
That to me is my one question going into this. Can he play, obviously can he play someone, demented and twisted? Absolutely. Like I'm absolutely not questioning his talent. I'm a little leery on what that means. That getting somebody like Woody Harrelson almost kind of means like this is going to be a one-shot character.
Yeah.
I don't see him doing a recurring role because Woody is no spring chicken anymore.
Right.
And so the idea of seeing him back as Carnage in a later film is not... there's not a real high probability, I think.
Yeah, I would have preferred an unknown, a newer, a younger person. I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't mean like a kid, but give me somebody like in his 30s. Instead of like it's... And again, it's no knock on Woody. And if I'm cautiously optimistic because his character, like his portrayal of Cletus, looks great. It's a little different than the comics because Cletus in the comics is way more manic energy. He is a punk rock serial killer on steroids.
Right.
So
he looks better in this one than he did.
Oh yes. Oh god, I love that they changed the hair. Oh
yes.
I was very on board with that change. Oh yes.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a different portrayal than in the comics, and I'm that to me is never a knock. It's like, oh no, they changed it. Well, yeah, they're making a movie. Of course, they changed it.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a lot. There's like I noticed the teeth. I was like, wait, he's not supposed to have teeth.
Yeah.
Supposed to just be blackness, but whatever. It's a movie. They change things like that. It's okay. That's the least of the problems I'll have with the movie if I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he like, yeah. That's what I was saying. I guess the opening bit did not. That comedy just didn't land for me. Where they made like the most expensive breakfast ever.
It. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I guess just I don't know, coming off of King in Black, and seeing how epic Venom can be with the lore and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And how he just becomes a god and he's here like, whoopity-whoopity-doo, I got tentacles, whoopity-doo, putting stuff together. I was just like, this is a step back.
Yeah,
but I am such a minority when it comes to this because most people don't read the comics. They don't see any of that stuff. So it wasn't that. They're probably like, oh, this is funny, right?
Right, and that's because that's the thing. Like, this is a different. This is definitely a different Venom. It's a different story, and again, we are at the beginning of
exactly.
of
And I have to keep telling myself this isn't the Venom with the dragon wings. Like, this is like that would be so cool if they did it. So I don't know. That's why I was saying it was such a. It was like, oh, okay, all right. I see where we're going with this. I'm on board, totally on board. But it definitely looks better than the original. It had Ravenscroft in it, right? The Spider-Man Arkham Asylum, right?
Yeah, because that's where they're keeping Cassidy.
Right. Okay. And what's the character? She's not another symbiote, but what's the character?
No,
the woman who's like, she is a symbiote.
She is. It's
I thought she was something different.
No, Scream. I'm pretty sure I think it's Shriek. Shriek, Scream. Damn, I can never remember. I think it's Shriek. But no, she is also a symbiote. She was a spin-off from Carnage, I think. Which is why.
Oh, I see. Well, in my head, I think the symbiote was because like I'm from like what is it, the Spider-Man ride, right?
Yeah.
There is Scream, right? It's a female symbiote that's like yellow, right?
Yeah.
I thought for a second this was gonna be, but I didn't see like symbiote stuff on her, so I didn't think she was that. But okay.
I'm conflating the two. Shriek is not a symbiote character, but I think Scream is. That's right.
Scream is, yes.
I think. But Shriek is not. But she's just nuts.
She's a Venom character, though, right?
Yes. Specifically, she's basically Carnage's girlfriend, because, crazy attracts crazy, and okay, good for you. Right. There's somebody for everybody.
Okay.
But...
okay.
Yeah, so that's right. She is powered, but it's different. That's right.
Okay, so they show her. They don't really go too much. They just kind of show her through a few scenes. But okay, yeah, no, I'm totally in. I'm curious where this is. A lot of rumors. A lot of people think that this is in the Sam Raimi verse.
Maybe.
Because the way the Daily Bugle they show someone reading the newspaper, and it's the exact same Daily Bugle as from the original 3.
Okay.
So a lot of people think that this might be in that verse, which would be an interesting thing. Because then you have Sony's Spider-Man universe from the original movies are continuing on through the Venom movies, but you have Marvel's movies. Now we're going to have Sam Raimi as a director in it. I'm wondering if at some point these two collide.
Yeah, in the Multiverse of Madness.
In the Multiverse of Madness, yes.
If not in No Way Home, there's...
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what, what if they pop him into that universe and that's where he stays? Oh, I don't know if I'd like that.
Me a headache. But this can't be the Raimi universe because it already had a Venom and it has a Spider-Man, and they would have... those would have been things that were touched on.
Yeah, I don't get it. You're right. You're 100% right. That would be weird. There would be 2 Venoms, technically. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I don't know, man. It was a weird thing that someone pointed out and said, well, hey, the Daily Bugle in the MCU is like a news channel. And in this movie, it is a newspaper. So it's weird. And so people are like, huh, that's interesting. And if you pause it at that scene, it looks like it does say the word Avengers, but with A marked out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Probably doesn't even mean much. Probably doesn't mean anything at all. But I thought it was interesting. At some point, they're going to have to explain something, though, in the next 5 years. I guess we'll find out shortly because of Tom Holland's contract is coming. It is up, I think, after this movie.
Yeah, I think after No Way Home, it's up.
Yeah, so hopefully by then we have some answers. But yeah, dude, it's interesting. I think Carnage looks great. That's the best thing about these Venom movies is they actually look like their characters, so that's good.
Yeah, they look. The
They're
design is
big
great.
and menacing.
I
Yeah, their
yeah, I
designs.
love the way Carnage looks.
Yeah, Carnage looks great. So yeah, man, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Did you see the trailer for Snake Eyes, the GI Joe Origins story?
I think I saw parts of it, but
Yeah.
it was a couple weeks ago, I think. Um, yeah, it looks like Wolverine Origins, but with Snake Eyes.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
Which I,
which is
sure,
cool.
go for it. Comes out July 23rd. This was a movie where I was like, oh yeah, I heard they were making this. And then I didn't hear anything else until it's like, and now here's a trailer. So
Yeah,
I was like, well, okay, like, all right, cool, I guess.
and if anything is right in the universe, he will meet Bumblebee at the end of this.
Man, don't joke.
That you have both franchises, and they are both super popular.
And they're
Why
talking
would you not?
like they've been talking about making a shared cinematic universe. So
That's
that's why I'm saying, man, it is not outside the realm of possibility for John Cena to show up at the end of this and talk about the Decepticons. Like
yeah.
it's really not.
Yes, that's how you do it.
He,
Bingo, there you go. Bingo,
he
bango.
he won't be talking about Taiwan, but he might be talking about Transformers. Uh,
Oof, yeah, John Cena kind of put his foot in his mouth on that one, didn't he?
Yeah, because that's a real sensitive issue over there. Like, it's one says one thing, one says another thing, and you have to be when you're talking about that, especially when you're trying to promote something in China,
Yes.
you have to be very, very careful.
Yeah,
And
yeah. There's no way about it.
no,
Yeah, John
but
Cena. This is
yeah,
like the big time. This is like the first time he's really fucking goofed up with that. Like, usually he's pretty by the nose, by the books, clean.
yeah.
So, yep.
It's not like over
But
here where if you were to talk about the country of Texas, because everybody here would just go, I mean, yeah, basically.
you're right. You're right. Exactly. Yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very, very sensitive. So that was,
Mm.
yeah, it was not fun. So let's we'll just go back to sticking John in action movies and comedies where he can intentionally be funny. And
Right.
you know
Oh yeah. Well, speaking of that, have you did you watch Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead?
I did. It was
Well,
a
we could
Zack
probably talk
Snyder
about it
movie.
later.
I
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was. Me and a friend watched it, and it was uh, it was entertaining. It was the dialogue was garbage, but the action was fun. It was all everything Zack Snyder does well was done well in this one. The music, stuff like that.
yeah.
I loved the musical choices. When I heard with the Cranberries Zombie, I was like, "Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, of
That's
course they did.
fucking great." Of course, he makes really great music videos. But yeah, you're right. It was a Zack Snyder movie,
It's
and if that's your thing, there you go.
yeah. As soon as I was reminded of that when I highlighted it and it said 2.5 hours, and I went, oh, fuck, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's and this is one that definitely could have used some editing, because there's a lot in there you just don't need.
Oh yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
you get what you know what you get going into it, and it's not, like I said,
Well,
it's not bad. It's just it's got a little too much going for it, in terms of
mhm.
like those action scenes are too much and too long and too slow. Um,
Yeah.
the
Well,
the mythology that they built around the zombies and everything, that was interesting.
yes.
That I
Yeah,
thought
absolutely.
was very, very interesting.
Oh yeah, that the hook of the movie was, oh, this is different.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm interested. Yeah. Speaking of the editing, I thought they did a great job with it because they did something that I just didn't notice until someone told me after the fact. That they completely edited out a character in the movie and replaced him, because he's a sex pest now, with a completely different actress, and they just completely shot around it.
Yeah, with Tig Notaro. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. Her
the
role
helicopter pilot.
totally was originally Crystalia, and then they said, "Oh no, fuck that guy."
Yeah.
Um,
So fucking hats off to Zack Snyder for having the I feel like as much as we talk about Zack Snyder and his movies, it seems like behind the scenes he's a good dude. Like
it
he
does.
makes the right decisions, especially when it comes to stuff like this.
Yeah.
He's like, no, fuck that guy. We'll remove him and we'll replace him with someone else.
Yeah.
So
Who does
hats
fantastic,
off
by the
to
way.
him.
Tig is a fantastic choice there with the
She's great.
the perfect blend of sarcasm and sincerity is great. Uh,
Absolutely. She was one of the best things about the movie. I loved that when they went to her and you thought that was going to go one way and she's like, oh, 2 million, I'm in.
yeah.
Nope, I don't want to hear anymore. Like that, I was like, I want more of her character.
How's it doing? Oh, it's fine. I'm just putting on a coat of wax.
Right. Oh yeah, and she's in Star Trek. She's great in the new Star Trek. She's one of my favorite characters in Discovery.
Nice.
So yeah, dude, that was a great part about it. So yeah, no, it was.
It's wild because you wouldn't have noticed. Like it's great. She and Dave Bautista have never met. They have scenes on screen together, but they weren't there for it. They've never met. I think it's hilarious.
Oh my god, that's great.
But but that's the thing. Like they were able to completely add her in and overwrite, doing all that, and that to me is nuts.
Yeah.
But absolutely good on them for just saying no. You know what? We're not going to do that. We're going to figure something out at
Right.
great cost. Like that was not cheap to do either.
Yeah.
That
guy got caught talking to like teenagers on Snapchat, right?
Yeah, something like that.
I saw a video where he found out live in a podcast that you could record Snapchat conversations, and you just see his face. His face realizes, oh, he's done.
Yeah,
that's his career. When he realizes that you can record conversations, like, oh man. But yeah, fuck that guy. But yeah, I don't know. The movie was, and it's on Netflix. So like, if you pay for your subscription, I think you should totally check it out. It's definitely worth that your price of your subscription.
Yeah,
so.
And the character work is great. Like it's one of the better Zack Snyder scripts.
Yeah,
for sure.
I just wish they did more of like what the pilot did, where you're like. I wish they just took different curves sometimes than what was expected.
Agreed.
Yeah, that was the only thing that I thought was like, okay, the hook is so interesting. I just wish they would have done more of that. Like
I think, and this is going to come off. This starts as a knock and then winds up hopefully not being one. Zack Snyder needs to stop making movies and focus on making miniseries. Because it worked out so well for his vision of Justice League, and I think if you added an extra hour and broke this movie down into parts the same way, I think it would flow better. I think that
you're 100% right.
There is a different way. Obviously, you edit to a miniseries very differently, and I think that would benefit. I think that's his niche. He makes this longer form narrative. He wants to tell a full, rich story. So, give him 4 episodes. He doesn't. Don't stretch it out. Don't make it 6, 8, 12. Give him, basically just a very long, give him a 4-hour movie and then just have, here are the act breaks. There you go. Just do like what they did with his version of Justice League, because I think that seems to be where his stories tend to lie. He makes longer stories full of details and whatnot, but not long enough to be a full digital season. That short, like 6-8 episodes. It doesn't quite hit that, but it's also a little longer than you might want to sit through a movie. So where is that middle ground? It's a miniseries, and he does that. His narrative style trends towards that, and I think he should absolutely lean into it, because miniseries are not a thing anymore. They're not. We're used to smaller seasons on streaming platforms, but that's still very much a TV show. Instead of, here's a 4-part movie. Done.
Yeah.
And I would love to see him kind of lean into that, because I think that helps more. Now, the
Hmm.
problem with that is you give him that much room, he may wind up writing a full season of something. Who the hell knows?
Right,
But
right.
if that works out, it works out. But I would love to see him lean more towards writing and directing to a mini series instead of just a very long movie. I think
Absolutely.
I think that would be an interesting direction, and I think it would help.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, dude. Streaming has changed the way we look at storytelling when it comes to film and movies, right? Like a book doesn't need to be told in an hour and a half. It also doesn't need 7 seasons, but you can have, like, for example, Queen's Gambit. It's perfect. 7 episodes. There's your story
Yeah.
from beginning to end. Um, what's that other one that
I
no,
don't
that's not
know.
a miniseries. I'm trying to think. Yeah, there's not many. They really, absolutely should shift towards that.
Yeah.
Because you could tell a full story, and it's like what, 7 chapters. You have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it's fleshed out. And you've time between scenes to catch your breath, or to do something fucking unique and interesting. Because there are bits in this movie where I'm like, oh, that's a cool twist. I like the way they did that. I like the like you said, the mythology, like, well, some of the things that they started doing, but you don't really have any time to explore it at all.
Yeah.
I saw it was Red Letter Media compared this to Alien 2. They were like, this was Alien 2. This was Aliens. This movie from head to toe was Aliens. And the more I thought about it, I was like, oh, you're absolutely right. And imagine Aliens, but as a miniseries, like just a fleshed out a little bit longer. That's exactly what it should be.
That's also not a terrible idea either.
No, there should be an Aliens miniseries. Why is there not?
Because
Um,
they made it, because that movie was made 40 years ago.
yeah, it's true. It's true.
How
But
old
when
is
they
that
started
movie?
comparing it and they started like showing scenes next back to back with each other, and I'm like, oh, they literally just copied the dialogue from that scene. The exact same plot from that scene. The helicopter coming up and the whatever plane coming. Like it's so I don't know, it's so good. But yeah, dude, I thought it was cool. I thought it was fun. More Dave Bautista. And
Yeah.
what's her name? Who's the helicopter pilot?
Tig Notaro.
Tig Notaro.
I
I
forget
love
if it's
her.
Notaro or Notaro. I think it's Notaro.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I like
yeah,
her.
she's a stand-up comedian. She's got all kinds of specials on Netflix. Really, really funny.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, I've seen her. It's that it's when you see her face, you're like, oh, I've seen her before.
Yeah.
And for me, it was Star Trek. That's where Star Trek Discovery.
Fair.
Her just sarcastic humor in the show is great, and she does that well right in here. So, she was a fantastic replacement. Probably my favorite character in the whole thing. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Nice. Well, you said more Dave Bautista. Knives Out 2 added some people to the cast, including Edward Norton, Catherine Hahn, and Dave Bautista.
Oh, hell yeah.
Good. We're going to have Drax, the first Hulk, the
Wait, can you repeat that? What did you say the first thing was?
we're going to have
The
Drax.
No, before that, right before that. You said, was it the sequel? What did you say?
Oh, Knives Out 2.
Oh, Knives Out 2. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And have Drax, the new Hulk, and Agatha all in the all in the same movie with James Bond. That's a cast.
Okay.
That's wild. Yeah, remember when Ed Norton was the Hulk for one movie? That was fun.
Oh, yeah.
God. And I think this is because I'm pretty sure I remember that Netflix bought the rights to Knives Out 2. So this is going to be another streaming movie.
Okay.
I would imagine they may strike a deal with some theaters though. See, because
Yeah.
like Army of the Dead played in some theaters, did not play, and it played in limited locations in every chain except I think for AMC. I think AMC did not make a deal with Netflix. I think Netflix made a deal with like everyone else, like Cinemark and Regal and all them. But I think AMC was not included in that deal. So I wonder, like, what was the behind the scenes of that to see like, hey, no, we don't play this.
Right.
But I'm very interested uh, to see what happens with that going forward. Because yeah, it was in Cinemarks. It was in a handful of other uh, different chains, but I
Yeah.
don't remember seeing AMC listed in, like, hey, by the way, here are the people that signed on to this deal. I think that Cinemark actually was the biggest chain that was involved with it, because it was like
Oh,
a
okay.
600 theater deal, which is more than you might think. But yeah, I think Cinemark was their biggest one. Regal might not have actually been a part of it.
Mm.
That's interesting. That's interesting. I'll dig a little more into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's usually just Netflix. It seems like Netflix, the way that it appears is that because we have stuff from Amazon and Hulu comes out in theaters all the time. Nomadland was out in theaters. Land was out in theaters. Late Night was out in theaters. There are plenty of Amazon Studios or Hulu specific movies that also get played in theaters. So those deals can be made.
Right.
It
Right.
just seems like Netflix, I guess, is asking for too much of the store. The
Oh,
way the
okay.
way that the way that the articles always kind of come out when it's like, and Netflix wants movie distribution, but they want theater distribution, but what they're asking is just everybody's just kind of balking at. They're like, no, we don't want to
Mm.
give. I don't know if it's a money deal, if it's a placement deal. I don't know, but it just
Yeah.
seems like there's not an agreement specifically with Netflix. Whatever it is they're looking for is not what distribution owners and the people who make those kind of deals are looking for.
Oh, okay.
So it'll be interesting to see how that changes going forward, if it changes going forward. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know. I'll be curious to see what happens there.
Okay.
Uh,
Cool.
but uh, yeah, like I said, that's some Knives Out 2 cast additions. Disney also officially announced that Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy will be returning to the Hocus Pocus sequel coming out next year.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
Cool.
they have to, like you can't
Yeah.
not. But
Right. Right. Right.
I loved when they announced that like this was going to be a thing and people lost their minds.
Mm-hmm.
It's because it's going to be. I'm pretty sure it's a direct to Disney Plus movie, which I am fine with. I have no problem with that at all. But
Yeah.
it's going to be fun. In news that I didn't know I was ever going to read, Joe Cornish is writing and directing an Attack the Block sequel, and John Boyega is going to
Oh.
return. I am
Okay.
hella excited about this. I went back and rewatched Attack the Block the other day because I was like, God, is this actually as good as I remember it being? Or is it,
Mm-hmm.
rose tinted glasses and all that? No, it holds up. It's fantastic.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
and it's
Cool.
really great because the trying to watch the people in that building get along, because it's the two that keep butting heads are John Boyega and Jodie Whittaker. So you have
Yeah.
you have Finn and the Doctor, and it's
Right.
hilarious to me. Like look a decade on and see where anybody in this movie would have wound up, and it's nuts.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah. Definitely.
but I enjoy Attack the Block. Attack the Block's a really good movie.
Mm-hmm.
So a sequel's gonna be fun. I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Cool.
Um, we got a little news on the Batgirl movie, which I think is an HBO Max exclusive. I don't know if
Okay.
that's. I don't think it's one that they're making that's going to be like the split platform thing, because it's not coming out this year. I think it's
Okay.
just an HBO Max exclusive movie. Um, the duo that did Bad Boys for Life, Adil El Arabi and Bilal Falah, are going to direct
Okay.
it, and they did a fantastic job on Bad Boys for Life. So
Okay.
awesome, bring it on. And Christina Hodson, who did Bumblebee and Birds of Prey, is going to be writing. So
Oh,
it's
the best
gonna
Transformer movie. That's good.
yes, and a very good like you watched Birds of Prey, right?
Yes.
Yeah, really good.
Oh yeah.
So that's shaping up to have a pretty solid team on it. I'm very excited about that.
Cool.
Uh, Something else that I'm very excited about, just because it means Henry Cavill is in more things, is that he is the sort of front runner, so it appears, to star in the Highlander reboot.
Of course he is. Jeez.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. Like it's
No, that's
but the thing that cracks me up is I'm pretty sure isn't it isn't Chad I cannot remember his name. Chad Stahelski, isn't he directing it?
I have no idea.
I feel like I remember seeing somewhere that he was directing this. Which to me would be insane to see, hey, the guy who directed John Wick is going to be directing Highlander.
Oh, that would be wild.
If I was right about that, then that would be just nuts.
Yeah, that would be nuts.
I'd have to give me a second to look because I feel like I saw that somewhere. But I'm like I get it. He's not Scottish. Blah blah blah, etc. etc. I don't care. It's Henry Cavill. Like he's a fantastic actor, and yes, Chad Stahelski is directing it.
Oh, okay. And Dave Bautista is cast as the Kurgan?
Of course he is.
Oh, man.
Of course he is. God, Dave Bautista's fucking everywhere.
He is. And this was in 2015 when it was announced for him.
Yeah.
The director was attached to it in 2016. Dave Bautista was 2015.
Yeah, that may have changed.
May have changed, yeah. But now Bautista's a bigger star than ever. I saw a thing where apparently they wanted him in the Fast and Furious franchise. And he turned the meeting into him pitching Gears of War.
I love it. I love it.
Universal. He was like, no, but I want to be in Gears of War. So he spent the whole meeting talking about doing Gears of War, and that would have been perfect, dude. I don't know anything about Gears of War, but he looks like the main guy from Gears of War.
He could do it. Oh, he could absolutely do it. I mean, it's why
100%.
it's why they put him in it.
Yeah,
which I thought was great. I love that they put him because he was what? He was a skin in Gears 5, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I
even think the New Day was in it as well.
Yeah. That's. Oh boy, that's a something.
That's great. Yeah, no, I love that he turned down Fast and Furious just to pitch Gears of War because he could just fit right perfectly in Fast and Furious.
Oh sure.
But yes, give me a Gears of War, which I'm shocked he hasn't been in Fast and Furious yet.
I would love to see him in a future Fast and Furious movie with The Rock and John Cena, and everybody's going to look at this and go, "Is this Fast and Furious or is this WrestleMania? What the hell is going on here?"
Right. And the thing is, we would love it. Like they're all on their own journey, and it's been fun to watch.
And they're all good actors. Like that's no knock on anybody. Like they're all fantastic. Yep.
Oh yeah.
That's which is crazy. Do you remember a couple of years ago, Stuber? Do you remember that movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was Dave Bautista and Kumail Nanjiani.
Mm-hmm.
That movie was so much better than it had any right to be.
Yes.
It was because it was hilarious. My favorite part was when the Nissan Leaf blew up and it caught fire, and as it's fading to black to go to a different screen, you can hear Kumail off to the side going, "It's an electric car. How is it on fire? This doesn't make sense."
That's great.
It's fantastic. Oh, that was such an underrated movie. That's absolutely one that more people should watch because it's it's so funny. It's so funny. Yeah. It has no right to be that good, but it is. It's fantastic.
You're right.
But we move now to the Adult Swim block of the movie news, which, yes, you heard me right, because Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Metalocalypse, and Venture Brothers are all getting movies.
Wow.
Because people are bored, I guess. Hey man, more power to them. There's a demand for it. People will watch it. Rock on. But just news I never expected to hear. You
Yeah,
know,
no, especially yeah.
hey, by the way, you're getting a Metalocalypse movie. Okay.
Well, yeah, especially now because are they? Wait, is Cartoon Network? What are they? Are they a part of Warner Brothers?
They are. We'll talk a little bit about Warner
Okay,
Media here after bit. Oh yeah, no, that's
gotcha.
in the
Okay,
that's in the news.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But they're doing that, and in other Warner Brothers news, they're doing a Willy Wonka origin story with Timothy Chalamet cast as Willy Wonka.
Okay.
Because that was the story we've all been clamoring for.
Right.
All right. I mean, they're gonna, there can't be a handful of years go by without a Roald Dahl movie. So sure, why
Well,
not?
I don't get it. Like the first time I saw Charlie and Chocolate Factory, I was like, okay, I've seen that. I don't know why this is still a thing now.
It doesn't need to be. It's because it's the most popular one, so that's the one they're gonna keep trying to milk. But I don't think they understand that, like, this well is tapped.
Yeah.
I really do think so. Like, I have no doubt that they will attach a great crew to this, and they'll get a fun script and a solid director. And we know Timothy Chalamet is a talent, but I just don't think anybody is particularly interested. Like, nobody is going to
No.
come rushing out to this.
No.
It's like
Yeah, I don't see.
it's young
Yeah.
Willy Wonka. Eh? Like, I really
Yeah.
feel like that's going to be the general reaction to it. But
Mm-hmm.
if it's good, it's good. I'm
Yep.
not going to argue with the results. I'm just curious as to every other project that they have sitting there that they could have greenlit, and they went with this one. Why?
Yeah.
But,
I agree.
the other day, Akira Toriyama came out and said that next year there's going to be another Dragon Ball Super movie.
Oh, he must have fixed his taxes.
I guess.
I must have if he can make more. That was the big problem, right? Like he had issues with his taxes.
It's something like that. Yeah,
Okay.
if you think our tax laws are bad, Jesus.
I don't know anything about their tax laws.
No, it's their legal system is way different than ours.
Oh wow, yeah, I've never thought about that.
Oh yeah. Oh no, do a cursory research of Japan's legal system and realize that they have like a high 90% conviction rating.
Right. Oh yeah. If you get arrested,
you're done. You're done. They don't arrest you unless they know you're guilty. Like
exactly.
It's
yeah. Man.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Seems all his legal troubles are gone.
Yeah.
If he's making more.
Let's hope. Let's hope.
Yeah.
We talked about Universal a second ago. They decided that the Boss Baby 2 should not come out in, I think it was slated for September originally. They moved it up to July 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also going to be a day and date on Peacock as well as in theaters.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think this is going to be any great loss. I don't think anybody's going to be too upset about this because I don't know a lot of people who were really hyped about the Boss Baby sequel. I'm curious and I'll watch it because I did enjoy the first one, but I was not clamoring for a new one. July 2nd, of course, aside from being 4th of July weekend, is also the same week that The Forever Purge comes out. So, really going to split that audience between The Forever Purge and Boss Baby 2.
Yeah. Yeah, what a split there.
Yeah. And last little bit of movie news, Legendary has decided that of all the films that could be remade, Faces of Death was one that they needed to pursue.
What?
Yeah.
Wasn't Faces of Death like real people dying?
Except no, it wasn't.
I thought that was...
You thought it was, but it wasn't.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought that was like clips of actual people dying that people spread all over the internet.
I think that kind of became that, but it spawned from a film series that was that but fake.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
It was like, oh my god, this is terrible. Look at this, and it shocked the hell out of people because we didn't know that filmmaking could do that at that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that later on that it was co-opted on the webs but it was originally a film series of here are really awful ways to die. Look at this. It's like those people are dead. Well, no, they're not. It's fake. But
wow.
Look at that. Doesn't that look real?
Yeah.
So yeah, Legendary.
Wow. Okay.
Which is interesting because the way that they talked about it, it looks like that's what Legendary is doing. Is that the film is going to be about clips that are spread on the internet.
Oh, wow.
Jesus. And it just goes round and round and round.
Yeah.
It's a thing. But yeah, just a little bit of TV news this week. We found out that Jenna Ortega is going to star as Wednesday Addams in Netflix's Addams Family series.
Okay.
It's primarily going to focus on her, and it's like a mystery in school kind of deal. Because, we don't have enough of those. But
right.
I'm excited. She's not someone I'm familiar with. She plays young Jane in Jane the Virgin, which is the biggest thing I would guess that she's known for. It's not something I've watched, but okay, cool. This is somebody who's done, obviously more than I have because I have 0 credits to my name. But so I'm cautiously optimistic for this. I enjoy Addams Family stuff, so I really hope this is good. And it's weird because this is directed and showrun, like this entire show, by Tim Burton. It's the first.
Oh, okay.
And I'm pretty sure it's the first time he's done anything TV, like at all. So,
okay.
If nothing else, we know the aesthetic will be on point.
Yeah.
But
that's for sure.
HBO Max and Cartoon Network announced a new animated series called My Adventures with Superman. And it looks like a wholesome-ish return to like Lois and Clark. Like the early professional years. So I'm
oh yeah. Okay.
This is the one that had Twitter freaking out because Jimmy Olsen is black.
My God.
Yeah,
he's a fictional character.
Right.
His character has nothing to do with his race. Oh my God, it's so dumb. People get upset as if they said like the new Black Panther, we're just gonna make him American. Like you know what I mean? Like it's nothing to do with his race. He could be anything. He could be a woman. They could change. They could do any of that.
They did that in Man of Steel. It was Jenny Olsen.
Yeah, okay, bingo, exactly.
Yeah.
Jimmy Olsen's character can be anything. Could be trans, could be black, could be white. It had nothing to do with the character of Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah, that was like the big announcement. It was like, hey, we're doing an animated Superman show, and it's going to focus on Clark Kent, Lois Lane at the Daily Planet, and they're sort of will they, won't they kind of romance and this and that. It's animated and it's really fun and it's like, and here's the artwork and it's just those two and there's Jimmy in the back with his camera. And of course that's what everybody on that side of the internet focused on was like, Jimmy Olsen is not black. I'm like, Jimmy Olsen is not real. So
right.
It doesn't matter.
It's Jack Quaid from The Boys who's voicing Clark. That's cool.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, dude, people are dumb. It doesn't matter. I mean, Nick Fury was not black, before. Well, I guess he was in the Ultimate Universe.
He was in the Ultimate Universe, yeah.
But I guess you're right, he was. But even if he wasn't, Samuel Jackson kills it as him. So yes. I don't get it. It's so dumb.
I don't understand. Like, I don't get the thing of like this fictional character clearly must be one particular race. Why? Is it relevant to the story in some way that cannot be changed at all for fear of upsetting the fabric of the plot? Otherwise, who cares?
Right. I understand when people are like, hey, this is a character that I have followed or watched or read for so long, and it's in my head that they are a certain way. I get a little bit of that. I understand that. That's fine. But it's not the end of the world if they decide to change something about them. It doesn't ruin anything. If anything, it would be bringing more people in. If anything, it's not going to take away from it. It's so, you know. I don't know. I'm trying to think of examples where things were changed, and I just feel like now we're in such a everyone's looking to be in a culture war for some reason. When a company decides to make a slight difference or a change to something, and it's just so stupid. It's so dumb.
Yeah, and they want to blame the companies or whoever for quote unquote being woke. It's like, why? Because they recognize the existence of other than straight white people.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
what in the
Right.
hell? Like, I don't understand. It's like I don't
Yeah,
get
judge
it,
it.
man.
Judge it based off of if it's good or not if a character is. If what upsets you is the color of the skin, then you got bigger problems.
Yeah, then you're just
If it
racist. Like,
Right, exactly. Yeah. If it comes out and it's trash, then it's trash. But when you immediately are negative about something just because they changed something like that, good lord.
right. And
Yeah.
but on the flip side of that, I am perfectly on board with people who want to get angry at a company for making non-white characters white for no reason.
Right.
Like, why does this get, like, you really, that's, and you get that with casting where it's like you really couldn't find, you're going to tell me that in everybody who auditioned for this character
Well,
that maybe instead, I mean, look at didn't
what's his
Kevin
face just talked about that?
yeah,
Yeah.
didn't Kevin Feige do a thing about
Hmm.
regretting casting Tilda
Yeah.
Swinton as the Ancient One, right?
Yeah, because people always talk about how he doesn't miss. He has just nailed everything. But no, there's mistakes that he's made, and he owns up to it,
Yeah.
right?
And that one to me I thought was an interesting case because it was a character that I understand like is firmly established as, as an Asian character. But at
Right.
the same time, it was also a stereotypical Asian character. Like
Yes.
who does the guy from the West go to see to learn about ancient mystical things? He goes and sees the old Asian guy.
Right.
And it's like that's kind of a played out trope. So
Hmm.
I like that to me I could have gone either way with. Like
Yeah.
I'm not upset that they cast Tilda Swinton because I think she did a fantastic job, but I also wouldn't have been upset if they had cast an Asian actor and
Right.
just updated and just thrown out the stereotype idea,
Right.
because I get it. The Kamartaj is in the East, so it would
Hmm.
be and it would make more sense to have had an Asian character as someone who heads up the order there.
Right.
So I get it. Like that's one where I think there was a different way to go about that.
Right.
But again, my thing is it wouldn't have if they had decided on Tilda Swinton and then switched her out for an Asian actor. I would not have gotten angry.
Hmm.
Like that's the part that astonishes me when like and it's because it is always white people. Why do
Yeah.
white people have to get angry when they're not the ones on screen? I love it when it's not somebody that looks or sounds or thinks like me,
Right.
because then you're going to get something different. You're going to get a new
Yeah.
perspective and a new take and a whole new set of everything brought to the table.
Right. Right. And it doesn't change. Like, there's only a couple characters that like it makes sense that they are that because it's a part of their story. Even stupid things like Wolverine is Canadian, right?
Yeah,
It was an Australian voice actor that did the cartoon show originally, and people hated that because he's Canadian, he's not Australian.
and then they cast an Australian to play him.
Right, exactly. The irony there. And of course, like the people always go back to Black Panther. You're not going to cast Chris Evans as Black Panther,
No,
right?
no,
right? And you're not gonna, yeah, exactly. And you know, and Chris, speaking of Captain America, he kind of has to be that blonde hair, blue eyes, so that the rest of the story makes sense when you tell everything else. And does that make sense? Like the idea of the journey that he goes on of like, oh wait, my country is fucked up, and later on, you know, his relationship with Falcon and that entire show and what that show was about, it would have been different if it wasn't someone who looked like Chris Evans.
Right.
If that makes sense.
There was just not. There was no chance that it could be a realistic take of like, yeah, sure. In the
Right.
40s, there was a black man who was Captain America, and everybody was great with that. It's not.
Right.
It's not. If you're going to portray the U.S. as historically accurate with just some minor like superhero tweaks, then that's not a thing you can do. And it makes for a much better story down the line. I don't know how much of that process went into it, but that's a case where I think you can't just switch it and say, well, you know, in this fake universe, you know, he's going to be black, deal with it, because there's so much else that it conflicts with.
It's true. Yeah. There's also some characters that are like some of the most iconic characters. I think you could totally switch the race or whatnot. Like, for example, and this is like a big conversation right now. Look at Clark Kent in the movie they're about to make. If he's Clark Kent and he's black, that would be perfectly fine. He's supposed to be. The only thing is if he lands on a farm. Just make sure he lives on a farm and he lands on a farm in Kansas. That's it.
Yeah.
He could land on someone of color's farm. And that would make it maybe even a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
With
it's, I mean, because I know he was a character that's been around for, you know, 90 years now. So things have changed. What's to say that Kryptonians were blonde, you know, dark-haired and blue-eyed? Like, no.
Exactly.
They could be they could be black or brown, you know? There's no like, why not?
Yeah.
There's no that's a perfect example of like, he doesn't have to be white. Superman can be anything.
And see, I think the opposite of Bruce Wayne. I think Bruce Wayne almost has to be white because of his family and the money that they have. That just wouldn't it wouldn't be as, you know, it just wouldn't be the same story if he was someone of color. Does that make sense with Bruce Wayne? It
does, because he is a very, like, there is that sense of entitlement as a child that then is shattered, you know, when his parents, who have amassed this wealth and community influence and what have you, like, it's, I feel like that is a very rich white family mindset. And the fact that breaks that hard is what makes him Batman.
Right, absolutely, and the thing is, we're just going through characters. Like, I think Wally West you could totally change out. What they did, right? Or Barry Allen. Wonder Woman, obviously, you can't make a man. That would make no sense for her story. Like, that's what I'm saying. There's certain characters, certain things they do right. But if they want, there's other characters like Jimmy Olsen. You can change the race and it's zero problem. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there's no reason. There is no reason not to.
No.
Like, you can if you want to. Like, cool, go for it. It could add depth to the character. Sure, why not?
Absolutely.
Go for it. Who cares? You know,
Absolutely.
and the people who are going to get upset about that, fuck them. That doesn't matter.
They're always going to get upset about that. So it's exactly.
Like, you mean you're gonna think that, you know, black people exist and gay and trans people exist and that women can talk? Like, you know, that's what these people get upset about, and it makes me nuts.
Yeah.
But
yeah, dude. I completely agree.
It'll be and the whole point is it's a fun little cartoon. Like, this is not something to be taken seriously. It's like, look, we don't have a Superman cartoon right now. Here we go. We're going to make one.
Yeah.
That's it. That was the whole thought process here.
Yep.
In the same family of Warner Media Studios, the CW is doing a new version of Legends of the Hidden Temple. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever want to be on that when you were a kid?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now you can when you're an adult.
Okay.
They're doing an adult version of it. This is what happens now that our generation has grown up and has started to be in charge of things.
Right.
It's why we get things like Cinnamon Toast Crunch seasoning. It's why we get
Oh,
that
wow.
cinnamon
Yeah.
sugar as a seasoning now. It's why we get Lucky Charms marshmallows sold off by themselves. This
Yeah.
is what happens. The world gets better.
Yeah.
So that'll be a thing that'll last the season. Like that, I don't see. Like it'll be fun and everything, but it's not gonna last, which is gonna be kind of sad. But it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Video game news. They announced just today. They announced the PlayStation Plus games for June. I don't know if you had seen this already.
Yes, I saw the leak yesterday.
And they made it official today. Operation Tango is going to be your PS5 exclusive. Never heard of it. No clue what it's about. Kind of excited to play it.
Yep.
Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown, because sure, why not? It's a series that I think most people forgot even existed, but I enjoy Virtua Fighter. I loved that it was still very... It was always... It wasn't particularly fluid 3D movement, and I liked that. Because I guess just because it was old school, I don't know. And Star Wars Squadrons is going to be fun.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah.
That's an amazing game. So if you guys have played it, play it.
Here you go. This is you now have no excuse. It's free for PS Plus people this coming month.
Oh yeah.
Which means we should be getting games for gold any day now, or did we already?
I'm not sure.
I feel like we might have already. Give me a second, and I will look because it seems like we should have gotten that. Because we are coming up on the end of the month here. June's game said, aha, yes, we do. Ooh, okay, interesting. Yeah, and actually it looks like this list just dropped.
Okay.
So available for the month of June is The King's Bird, which I have never heard about, but it does look pretty. And then your middle of the month, from June 16th to July 15th, you get Shadows Awakening.
Okay.
All right. And then the two backwards compatible titles for the first half of the month is Neo Geo Battle Coliseum, which I am always down for any game that has Neo Geo in the title.
Oh yeah.
Just because it's going to be fun as hell. And the second half of the month is the first Injustice.
Oh, okay.
Because Injustice 2, I think, it's either on Game Pass or it was on Games for Gold for a while.
It is. It's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
I played it like a month ago. Yep.
Yeah. And I think it's also part of the PlayStation Now collection, or the PS Plus collection, whatever it is. I think it's on there too.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So interesting lineup. I don't know who to... I know who to give the edge to. I give it to PlayStation this month just because they're catching up with Xbox, because Squadrons has been on EA Play or EA Access, which is part of Game Pass.
Right.
So it's them catching up. But I don't know. It's kind of I don't know. It's hard to call this month because Injustice is really good.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know. We'll call this one a push. Both of them have decent lineups this month, and which is good. Like I'm all for when they both have good months. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And I would expect a further surprise from one or both companies here, because E3 is in 3 weeks, middle of June, right? June 12th through the 15th.
Yep.
So we'll see. I'm sure because I know Sony is doing their Days of Play sale, which they always do around, or their Summer of Play or whatever it is. They always do around E3. That started up today or yesterday. So look for another freebie from somebody, I'm sure.
Yeah.
In the next month.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that Skull and Bones, the pirate simulator from Ubisoft, has been delayed again.
Okay.
It's pushed to 2022 now. That's all we know.
Okay.
And we got some interesting Pokemon news today, kind of out of nowhere, because I didn't think that there wasn't a direct scheduled or anything, was there? I didn't miss that
No.
memo, did I?
No, yeah.
But I looked on Twitter and it's like, oh hey, by the way, the next remasters, which we knew were a Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, are going to come out on November 19th, which is the week of Thanksgiving, or the week before.
I think so, yeah.
And then Pokemon Legends Arceus is going to be January 28th of next year. So you get a couple months to play your remasters and then a new game.
Yeah. It's exciting. Get one for Christmas or holiday, whatever you celebrate around that time of year. And right around the corner, you get the brand new game.
There you go. And they will be... Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl will also have a double pack.
Oh, okay.
So they will have one that has both. I imagine that won't be cheap, but it will be an option.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got two last little pieces of news here. And I say little pieces of news, even though it concerns the fact that Amazon bought MGM Studios for $8.45 billion.
That's wild.
So Amazon now owns James Bond. I mean, that's what they were paying. That's why they bought MGM. Let's be honest.
What else does MGM have?
They do have more than that, but that's what they were buying.
They're buying the backlog, but what other franchises?
That's a good, what do they have currently? That's a very good property. That's a very good.
Okay, so they have Rocky, they have Pink Panther, they have Vikings, Legally Blonde, Stargate, RoboCop. These are some franchises you could bring back for Amazon exclusive stuff. Those are the big ones. Stargate, you could probably resurrect that somehow. Handmaid's Tale.
Really?
That's on Amazon, right? Hulu, yeah.
That's interesting.
Vikings seems super popular. RoboCop, they tried to bring that back not too long ago.
It didn't work all that well.
Right, but Rocky's doing pretty good, that franchise. And, of course, James Bond.
Yeah.
That's the big one. I'm surprised they haven't done a James Bond universe where you have multiple characters. And
the family, the producer family, was it the Broccoli's? They won't allow it. They will not. They will flat out not allow it. James Bond is a movie character in his own movies, full stop.
Gotcha. Okay.
That is completely a they will not let that happen deal.
All right.
They throw that Amazon money around though. That may change, but
might change.
I doubt it. I highly doubt it.
Yeah, don't anyone outshining James Bond in his own universe.
Exactly. No, that's exactly the thing.
Right. Can't have an Odd Job movie.
No.
I'm just trying to think about characters. They have a bunch of colorful characters.
You couldn't have an Odd Job movie. It'd have to be a short film.
Oh no! Oh no!
Yes, I did. I'm not apologizing. I should, but I'm not. I don't care. It's awful. Anyway, also in terms of people buying things, there is a merger being done, which will birth a new company. That's the way this is going to pan out. AT&T is spinning off Warner Media, which is everything Warner Brothers. That's Warner Brothers, DC Comics, HBO. What do they have at TBS, TNT, all that kind of stuff? Everything Warner Media related. All of it. The film studio, the whole bit. They are getting merged with, of all freaking companies, Discovery, to create a new company. Because AT&T bought all the Warner Media properties 3 years ago.
Right.
And in 3 years, they looked at this and said, nah, it ain't worth it.
Basically. Yeah, they gave up.
Yeah, because AT&T sucks. And I think it's just that they got tired of John Oliver calling them out every week. That's just me. But
right.
that's always been fun to me. But yeah, so that's
Yeah,
gonna.
I guess I never saw Discovery as this big company that could purchase something like that, but
Well, and
apparently it is.
they did, but they didn't. It's a very strange. It's an because we don't have mergers much anymore. You know, one company buys it. We have
Yeah,
buyouts, um,
yeah.
but it's wild.
I
It's
just hope I hope they put everything on the HBO app, and we don't have to get a Discovery Plus thing. Wait, is there a Discovery Plus? Oh my
There
god.
is, yes. I because
Oh my
there's
god.
well, and here's the thing though. It's because there is so much content. I am Here's what I'm okay with. I am okay with them still being separate but part as a bundle. Like you have Hulu and Disney Plus.
That's true.
You can
That
have them
makes
separate
sense.
but as part of a bundle because they are two very different audiences. You know,
Oh yeah.
Discovery Plus is your Food Network, HGTV, on obviously
Pawn
all the Discovery
Stars,
channels, all that kind of stuff, absolutely. And HBO Max
Hitler, all that
has all
History
your
Channel stuff.
yeah, and HBO Max has all of that stuff.
Mhm.
So I am totally on board with them saying,
You're right.
we're gonna make it, we may cut the price a little bit and encourage you to bundle, but you can still get one or the other.
Yeah.
And both of the interfaces are fine. Discovery Plus is because you could use a little tweaking, but like the way they've got HBO Max organized is not bad. I don't hate it. So
Well,
I don't see the need to cannibalize both of those infrastructures just for the sake of putting all of that content in one place. I am totally fine with them staying separate.
but I mean, if you think about it, I'm just trying to think of all the apps they have. They have Discovery. You have HBO Max. You have CW app. You have, which is what, Seed. You have DC Comics. Like it's got something has to give with these. All in the same company.
I my thing is I think that's why, like, I think if you want to combine all of the HBO CW DC stuff into one app, sure, I'm
That
okay
makes
with that.
sense.
But
Yeah, because they have everything. I mean, they even have anime. I looked, Berserk was on there because I
yeah,
went to go look what was up, and that's on there. So you're right.
for the
Combine those
yeah,
things.
for the time being at least, because remember
Okay.
this was before Sony bought Crunchyroll,
Oh, okay.
so
Yeah.
because they already right, because they
Right.
owned Funimation and then bought Crunchyroll. I keep wanting to think it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, yeah.
but so that's going to be interesting. But I am, because I think you have two different crowds when it comes to HBO Max and Discovery Plus.
Hmm.
So I'm okay with keeping
You know,
that separate. I think
I think this.
I
Oh,
think
good.
I think rolling all of the Warner Brothers stuff, the CW and DC Comics, and rolling
Hmm.
that all into the HBO Max app makes sense. I think that's something you need to do.
Yeah. I
But
think this gives some um, truth to what the rumors have been over the last couple of months about AT&T wanting to sell DC Comics to somebody. And like, like the rumor was that Marvel was offered it and they turned it down. Other companies like Amazon, even like, and then there was rumors that a group of fans, super rich fans, were wanting to purchase it. And that AT&T was trying to sell off some of its stuff. This makes a lot of sense too, if especially with this news that they're like, "Yep, we're getting rid of this."
yeah, they sold what they did was
um,
they sold off everything that wasn't their telecommunications brand. Like
right,
that's like
right, right,
AT&T is still gonna do cell phone service and internet and TV and all that stuff, but all of
right.
their Warner Brothers, DC Comics, NetherRealm Studios, that was part of it. Uh,
Okay.
Everything, if you think of like everything that HBO and Warner Brothers owned, all of that
Hmm.
is going to be part of this new company now.
Right, right.
Uh,
Mortal Kombat, all that good stuff.
yep.
Yep.
It's
Well,
just,
cool.
and it's weird that it also includes DC Comics, because now I'm just thinking of the Superman Guy Fieri crossover, you know,
Right.
because that can
Right.
be a thing now.
Yep. Exactly. It
But
totally
that's
can.
it's.
History Channel is going to be full of DC Comic stuff.
I mean, hey,
Yeah.
A&E's got WWE stuff going because it's an NBC property, so why not?
Oh, that's why they got all that on there now.
Yep.
That makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Which is cool. I've been having fun watching those. Yeah. That's cool.
Ooh, what is this? What is this you sent me here? Rising Storm. Ooh, new Star Wars book.
Oh, yeah. I saw the cover of it and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that looks awesome.
It does
like
look
Knights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
I'm excited for that book.
Yeah, I just finished I can't remember the name of it now. Help me out here. The first one in the High Republic series. Light of the Jedi, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Light of the Jedi.
Yeah, I just finished that the other day. It was super good.
I think I read the first part, like half of it, but I didn't read the rest.
It
I got
keeps
so
going.
sidetracked.
Yeah, it's a well paced. It's really well done. And
yeah. It opens up great.
Yeah, and I started reading, and I can't because I can never keep the titles of them straight anymore. The Claudia Gray one, Into the Dark, the young adult
Into the Dark
one, and it definitely reads different. And I didn't notice because I usually stick to primarily young adult focused fiction because I find that's some of my favorite kind of writing.
Yeah.
When I went from Charles Soule, who does more, I'm not going to say adult oriented fiction, but definitely aimed at a slightly older audience at least.
Yes.
And then going to Claudia Gray, I didn't realize it's a big shift. Like stylistically in particular, very big shift, and not just because it's two different writers, but because it is very much like, Light of the Jedi is from somebody who has more of a fiction writing background as opposed to a young adult writing background.
Right. So it's more like a movie,
yeah.
The action is crazy to read in
but
Light of the Jedi.
Enjoy the hell out of both of them. I really enjoyed Light of the Jedi. I liked what it set up. I liked what they did with the Nile and everything. So I'm really curious to see where this goes. Headed forward. So I started Into the Dark, but I've got like 6 different things going on. It's been nuts. I was doing that.
No time.
I played Strikers. I saw Spiral the other week.
Oh, how was that?
It's really good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's actually really good. If you get a chance, definitely check that out.
Okay. See, I thought it got bad reviews, so I didn't even give it a second chance second thought. But...
I enjoyed the hell out of it. I don't know.
Okay.
I stopped reading reviews just because usually I stay away from them before a movie comes out. Like, I know The Quiet Place and Cruella reviews are up. I don't care. I don't want to read them. Like, I'm going to watch them myself eventually and make my own opinion up. And then I never go back. I just always forget to go back and read, well, what did critics think about this? I just forget.
Gotcha.
But no, I enjoyed Spiral. I really did. I definitely think it's worth checking out.
Yeah.
And I hate it. I have to make this joke, and I'm really sorry. But this month for me has been anime. It really has.
Oh my God.
I had to do it. I couldn't stop myself. Yeah. And I didn't think about that until earlier. Because I did Demon Slayer and then the movie and enjoyed the hell out of it. So good. I got through season 3 of Attack on Titan.
Oh shit.
Also really good, but you've got to be in a mindset to watch that because it gets really depressing a lot. And to balance that out, I got caught up. I started at season 2 and got caught up on My Hero Academia.
Oh, okay, cool.
Movies and all. The movies are astonishing. No wonder they sold out whenever we had them.
Yeah. I got to catch up on that. I finished the
so good. So good.
Oh yeah. I finished the first season of Demon Slayer, which I really liked. Thought it was great. And I just started the movie, but I had to go do something last night, so I had to turn it off. But the very beginning of the movie opens up with the train and stuff, and I've seen that. So yeah, it's like the very end of it. Yeah.
It literally picks up at the end of season 1. It's great.
Yep.
But
yep.
The movie is fantastic. It's so good.
Yeah, I'm gonna be watching that tonight. So
yeah, you watch that. I'm gonna watch the no clip documentaries.
Oh yeah,
that looks
great.
Like I'm excited. I didn't know that was a thing. I'm absolutely gonna watch that because those are phenomenal. Because those are always good. No clip stuff is always really, really good stuff.
Yep. Oh yeah. They dig deep. They talk to the guy. I recognize the guy they talk to. He's one of the translators that translates it into English over here, and he was one of the guys that hosted their big event last week or whatnot. And I was like, oh, that's the same guy from the documentary. And he's of course translating for Yoshi P and all of them. So
yeah.
But yeah, dude, it's cool. Yeah, man, same here. I felt like I've been doing a lot of the same stuff too. I've only seen the first season. Oops, sorry. That's my alarm. I've only seen the first season of Attack on Titan, though, so yeah, I gotta watch more of that.
It gets better and more depressing at the same time.
Yeah, I think the problem. Yeah, I have to be in the right mindset for that. But My Hero Academia, I could probably catch up on that.
Oh, so fun! It just keeps it's everything you want in it. I love it.
Oh yeah,
it's so good.
Absolutely. Oh, cool, dude. Well, we got a lot to watch, a lot to see over the next week. Yeah, dude, I'm excited. I'm excited to talk to you in a week or so. When we're a little bit more deeper in Final Fantasy and get into the lore and stuff like that, and see if your friend will pop on. That'd be great.
Yeah, I'll definitely. Because next time I talk to them, I'll definitely bring that up.
Yep. Well, cool, man. Well, I think that's it. Make sure you go to our Facebook group, We Geek Podcast. So you can send us an email, wegeekpodcast@gmail.com. And we're on YouTube, Spotify, all that good stuff. And yeah, that's it. Captain.